Welcome to What in the Duck podcast. I'm your host, Oliver Peck. What in the Duck podcast is proud to be sponsored by Yellow Rose Canyon, your premier event space and campground nestled in the piney woods of East Texas. With cabins and RV sites available, Yellow Rose Canyon is perfect for your next event, no matter the size. A wedding, reunion, festival, you name it. Check it all out at yellowrosecanyon.com. Welcome to another episode of What in the Duck podcast. As always, I'm your host, Oliver Peck, and today in the booth, we have none other than Jimmy Snaz, also known as Snaz Daddy, as he prefers to be called. So, some people call him Jimmy, some people call him whatever, but see him on the street, just yell out, Snaz Daddy, because that is his preferred nomenclature. So, excited to have him in here. Talk about all things tattoo, maybe some Stink Master, maybe some motorcycle, maybe some good times. We'll see. We'll see what we talk about. Stay tuned for that interview with Jimmy Snaz coming up shortly. But right now, we're going to start off with answering a question from the Gmail. And I'd like to thank everybody for tuning in and remind everybody to like, share, subscribe, comment, do all the things. Subscribing is free. So just click it. You can also become a member of the podcast. And thank you to all our members so far. Membership comes with all kinds of cool shit, so check it out. Question from Anthony R. says, first off, yo, Oliver and team. Shout out to all the team. Y'all know John.com from the comment episodes. We got Court back there, and we've got Audra making sure everything is right on time, as we just had to fix at the beginning of this episode. You don't even know anything about that because we've already fixed it before you got here, so... he says, what in the Duck team? Thank you guys. Love the content. Growing up out in Fullerton in the late 90s, I loved the Tim Hendricks episode. I was wondering if you could share more of your time with Eric Mosky and your time in and around Fullerton. Also, for people who don't know a little history and for people who want to learn/hear more, in parentheses, Anthony, it would be cool if you could dive into some of the names and backgrounds that paved the way. Burt Grimm, Rick Walters, Jack Rudy, Tattoo Land. I grew up hearing a lot of cool shit, but it would be rad if I heard it from the people who were in it and lived it. All right, Anthony. Just to mention Jack Rudy and Rick Walters, both were friends of mine. Both were people I looked up to young in my tattoo career, very early in my tattoo career when I was young. Jack Rudy is one of my favorites. I have a Jack Rudy tattoo on the top of my hand. One of my greatest tattoo experiences. And, it spawned, almost 30 years of friendship with Jack. And he was a great guy. He was a ball buster. And he never missed a moment to talk shit. And I loved it. I will tell a real quick little... Man, this is going to be a long answer to this question. So, but one of the things, Jack Rudy, when he was tattooing, he would be tattooing and then the person getting tattooed would ask him a question. And he would set his machine down. He would lean back. He would think for a second and he would very slowly answer their question. Very detailed, very open, very honest, very sharing. And he'd get done and they would say, okay. And then he'd pick the tattoo machine back up and start tattooing them. And then ask him another question. And he would put his machine down and lean back and answer the question and talk to him. And as soon as they quit talking, he'd pick the machine back up and start tattooing again. And after a few times of this happening, it would obviously come to mind. And he would make a comment. It's like, hey man, it's $300 an hour. You want to get tattooed or you want to ask questions? Whatever's cool with me. And so it's pretty fun. I thought that was pretty funny. But his time and his knowledge was worth it, worth every penny. But if you made the mistake of asking about UFOs or aliens, you were gonna get about $300 worth of fucking alien talk and not much tattooing. Jack Rudy was the best. But future episodes of podcast, when I have tattooers on here from that area, we can definitely talk a lot more about those kind of histories. But in this question particularly, talk about Eric Mosky, personally one of my favorite tattooers. I learned about Eric Mosky very early on when I first started tattooing. And the way you learned about things back then was in the tattoo magazines. And there was an International Tattoo Art magazine. It was probably the highest quality tattoo magazine of the 90s. And they really went in depth. And they did an article on Eric Mosky, which at the time, I remember it being like the biggest article on a single tattooer. It was like, 15 pages of the magazine were all Eric Mosky, and it's a big interview and tons of photos. And he was a younger tattooer that was doing the old style tattooing and doing traditional tattooing and doing rockabilly, hot rod looking type stuff. And there wasn't a lot of people getting those tattoos most places in the country. And it really turned me on to this traditional style, that I'd seen from Sailor Jerry and stuff like Ed Hardy. But Eric Mosky had like just put a little bit more of a punch to it. Not to say a new school punch, but just, he had updated the classics. And his tattooing was just super cool. And all the old guys really loved what Eric Mosky was doing, keeping the traditional side alive. And, I decided, I would, that's when I fell in love with traditional tattoos. And it was hard to get customers to get traditional tattoos back then. Most of the tattoos I was doing was tribal armbands and dolphins on the ankles and tribal suns around the belly buttons and leprechauns on people's butts and names and all kinds of, things that were your common early 90s walk-in tattoos. And then Eric Mosky came to Dallas and did a guest spot at Paradise Tattoo when I was working there. And oh man, it was so cool. I got a tattoo from Eric and got to know Eric, and we became buddies instantly. And he invited me to come out and see Classic Tattoo in Fullerton. And this is before Eric owned the shop. And prior to this invitation, I was a very proud Texan and a naysayer of the state of California. And I was like, I was always like, you had all these, punk rock skateboard stickers says, we don't give a fuck how they do it in California kind of thing. And fuck you, we're from Texas attitude. And Eric Mosky invited me to come to California, and I went. And it was my first trip to California. I've told this story a few times, so I'm going to breeze over part of it. But I went to Southern California. I tattooed at Classic Tattoo. And, I really just fell in love with that scene and fell in love with what was going on out there. And it's a beautiful place. It's the coolest tattoo shop I'd ever been into in my life. The first day that I was set up to tattoo there, I had no clue if I was going to do any tattoos. I was a young tattooer. Nobody was coming in looking for me specifically. Shop opens, turn the neon on, and somebody walks in the door, and everybody that was working had their appointments and stuff. And so Eric's like, all right, you're up, man. And so I walked out into the lobby and greeted the customer and was like, hey, what do you want to get a tattoo? What do you think about getting? Straight away, he's like, yeah, I want to get a tattoo. And he pointed at this thing on the wall and said, I want to get this on my chest. And I about fucking lost my shit. This guy pointed at this, straight up off the wall flash from an old traditional eagle, probably based on an early Leroy Menu or Burt Grimm flash of an eagle. He wanted a chest eagle. This guy walked in off the street and wanted a fucking chest eagle. First tat that I'm in California. And I was like, I'm living the fucking dream. This is like I couldn't get somebody to get a traditional eagle to save my life back in Dallas at the time. I was like, couldn't believe it. I almost fucking left my shoes on the floor when I jumped, and just try to keep my cool. I was like, I can do that. Yeah, that's cool. And I walked back. I was like, oh my God, this guy's getting an eagle on his chest, I did that tattoo, and it was fucking super cool. And every tattoo I did in California at that trip, that was probably around 94, 95, I think. I can't remember exactly what year. I'm terrible with the memory of things like that, but of dates and times. But I'd been tattooing a few years for Richard. And I did a bunch of cool tattoos that week that I was out there. I came home just ready to rock. And I had, and I decided from that point on in my portfolio, I was only going to put, the tattoos that I really wanted to do. So my portfolio was very small. I had taken all the tribal stuff out and taken all the things out, trying to sell people. Like if they want to get whatever, they're going to get it. They don't care about your portfolio picture of a little dolphin or whatever. So I just put all these, every time I could convince my friends, I had a bunch of young friends at the time that I could convince them to get Old Flash. So I just took the photos of those tattoos and filled my portfolio with that stuff. Because Eric Moskey's portfolio was a goddamn phone book, just full of badass, just pinups, hot rods, eagles, daggers, skulls, snakes, panthers, just like a million of each, and just, I didn't have that many photos of cool tattoos because I'd just been doing whatever people wanted. And I just decided, if people come and look at your book and they're going to decide what they want based on what you can do, then this is what I want to sell. And I started just pushing that. And, little by little over the next 30 years, now I'm to the point where I only do traditional tattoos. But I've only made that switch in the last decade. I stopped doing, other things. But up until, 20 years of my tattoo career, I pretty much did whatever people wanted. Eric Moskey really changed my life. He taught me a lot and he helped me a lot. And he opened a lot of doors for me because I went to Classic Tattoo. I met Juan Puente. I met Scott Sylvia. I met Freddie Corbin. I met so many people. Met Jack Rudy. I met Mike Brown. I met Baby Ray. I met Bob Roberts. And it just, I've very quickly learned that there was a tattoo community that not everybody did the same type of tattoos, but everybody shared this common love for tattooing. And it was, it was an incredible time. I came back to Dallas, and for the next, handful of years, Eric Moskey came to Dallas every year, once a year, made a trip. And we opened Elm Street, and Eric Moskey was coming to work at Elm Street. And, a lot of people in Dallas in that time got tattoos from Eric Moskey that came to town. And then the kind of the rockabilly scene kind of kicked off, and that helped traditional tattooing grow a little bit. And it just kind of got to be a thing, because there used to be a time when the old traditional flash on the wall, nobody really wanted that. Everybody wanted the whatever. But I still go back to Classic Tattoo, probably at least once a year. My buddy Tim Hendricks owns the shop now. Eric Moskey passed away quite some time ago, 2008. But the last couple years of Eric Moskey's life, he asked me to help. I was running Elm Street Tattoo, and we had partners in Elm Street, so it's I could leave as much I wanted. And Eric Moskey asked me to help with the shop. So the last couple of years of his life, I was there almost 2 weeks a month, 1 to 2 weeks a month. And I did 2 weeks a month for a year. And I was just going to Classic, work for 2 weeks, come home to Dallas, work for 2 weeks. And then I would do some other tattoo conventions and traveling. So I was seriously on the go. I was a heavy traveling tattooer, and, had to have a place to stay in Southern California, had to have, there's times I had motorcycles and cars out there that I would leave out there. I always kept Texas as my home residence. But I did kind of manage Classic Tattoo for a couple years. And Eric Moskey passed away, and we were lucky enough to get Tim Hendricks to take over the shop and keep it alive. So, and I'll be back out there soon. I usually go out there in the summer. I'll be out there for Born Free, California, and I'll be tattooing at Classic Tattoo again. It's still one of my favorite tattoo shops in the world. And Tim has kept the Eric Moskey feel. He's definitely, updated the things that needed to be updated and remodeled the shop a little bit, but he did it very tastefully, and he kept the look. Added a few more stations because it was a very small work area and had a very huge lobby. But Tim's got a great team of people there, and it's a beautiful shop. And Eric Moskey's station is still exactly the way Eric left it. There's still the same little knickknacks on the shelf, and it's really cool to see. So if you're in Southern California, get to go get a tattoo at Classic Tattoo. It's a very special Very special place in tattoo history. And like, there's a lot of places like that. There's Spotlight Tattoo, and there's still Tattoo Land. There's a lot of great special places like that in tattooing that if you're traveling around the world, there's probably a gym like that in every major area. Seek out that tattoo history and see where things evolved from. So, Anthony, I really appreciate your question and the interest in Eric Moskey. We have Eric Moskey Flash on the wall down street, and we always have, and we always will. And there's a lot of great Eric Moskey Flash on the wall at Classic Tattoo in Fullerton. There's a bunch of people that have kind of gotten into Eric Moskey style tattooing, and Adrian Willard is one in the UK. He's kind of got a whole obsession with Eric Moskey Flash, got a whole wall of Eric Moskey stuff, and he is kind of, his tattoos have a very reminiscent feel of what Eric was doing. Not by coincidence, by the way. Well, cool. Thank you so much, Anthony. I love the chance to talk about Eric as much as possible. I've got quite a few tattoos from Eric over the years that we were tight. We did a fair amount of traveling together, and he really opened my eyes to, a lot. I owe a lot of my friendships in tattooing to meeting Eric Moskey. So back in the old days, you just met someone, and then you meet someone from them, and real life was great back then. So I recommend you get back to it. The other thing I want to say real quick is I just got on a new thing thanks to Fernie that works at Anchor Screen Printing. I don't know how many people out there, spending a lot of time on social media, but I want to challenge everybody out there to the challenge that I have accepted. And I've got this app. I think the name is Clear Space. Is that the name of the app? Yeah, Clear Space app. And what it does is you can select the apps on your phone, and Clear Space will block the app. Like Instagram. I have it set up on my Instagram. And if I want to get on Instagram, Clear Space makes you set up your camera, and you have to do an activity in front of your camera to unlock minutes to use on Instagram. So I have it set to where I got to do push-ups to get on Instagram, and I get 1 minute of Instagram for every 3 push-ups I do. Fernie took the easy method. He's getting 1 minute for every 1 push-up, and I couldn't choose the easy method. So I took the level hard, where you get 1 minute for every 3 push-ups. So today's my first day on this, and I've already done like 70 or 80 push-ups. I haven't used very many. I'm banking these minutes up. You can use the minutes whenever you want, but get on the ClearSpace. Try it. You get a free 7-day trial. Take a 7-day challenge on the ClearSpace deal. This is not a paid advertisement by ClearSpace ad. I'm just strictly this is something I'm trying, and I challenge myself to limit my social media time and actually get some. I can't just do a push-up for no reason. I just don't have the mentality to work out for nothing. But this is it's going to be a fun experiment. Maybe I'm going to get all jacked up in the process. Or maybe I'll just need more caffeine. Who knows what's going to happen? But I think it'll value my time that I waste on Instagram a little bit more. So, or at least I have to sacrifice something to get it. And that's it. We are going to get on with the episode we're going to bring up right now, and we'll be right here. I'll be wearing a different shirt. I'll be sitting over there. Jimmy will be sitting over there, and we are going to see what Jimmy Snaz has to say. All right. What in the Doug podcast is proud to be sponsored by Dream Machines of Texas. All of your used motorcycle wants and needs all in one place at dreammachinesoftexas.com. They have multiple locations, large inventory, and get new bikes in every week. Knowledgeable staff with great service, financing, and extended warranty options available. They also have a complete service garage, so every bike is gone through and brought up to speed before you hit the road. I've bought more than a few bikes from Dream Machines over the years, and I could not be more satisfied. I have also had friends from all over the country buy bikes because they couldn't find a better deal anywhere. You can buy a bike and have it shipped to you anywhere in the U.S. Why buy a brand new bike with that brand new high price when you can get a like new bike with that dream deal you've been looking for. Go to dreammachinesoftexas.com and get a bike and get your ass on the road. Welcome to another episode of What in the Duck podcast. I'm your host, Oliver Peck, and today I'm in the booth with Snaz Daddy, Jimmy Snaz, owner of North Street Tattoo.
Yep.
It's in Salem.
Salem, Mass.
Massachusetts. I've been there. It's a beautiful shop. You rode your motorcycle from Massachusetts to Texas. You got here last night. You've had a pretty badass couple days on the road. How was that?
Dude, it's been incredible. It was exactly what I needed. Up north, I actually live in New Hampshire, and it's been a tough winter, with all the snow, and it was still kind of cold when I left Massachusetts, but getting down here, the road opens up, the weather clears up, it's fucking hot.
Riding through Virginia and Tennessee are some of the best.
I missed that. So I went northwest through Ohio, down through Cincinnati.
Oh, yeah.
Down into Memphis, and I made it to Clarksdale, Mississippi, which was pretty cool. Whatever's left of it, you know what I mean? But it's where the legend of the Crossroads, Robert Johnson.
And they fucking wrote a song about it.
Oh, yeah.
A bunch of people wrote a song about it.
Yeah.
But Clarksville in general, the Last Train to Clarksville.
Yeah.
Was a popular song when I was a kid.
Yeah, dude, it's been incredible. And I don't know, the biggest thing riding through the South, seeing all the abandoned hotels, motels, gas stations, all that stuff, and it just kind of brought me back to a time that doesn't really exist.
I love what I call the modern day ruins.
Yeah, dude.
It's like when you see like old barns or old tire shops or old gas stations or old motels with all the signs and gas stations and all this stuff and old burger joints and drive-in burger stands, all this stuff that's just like right now, a lot of that stuff is just on the cusp of being able to be saved.
Right.
But it's
well,
in another generation, it's going to be, it's going to be totally gone. It's going to be completely dead ruins.
Right. I hope there's some sort of revival for Americana, for the, small businesses, mom and pop shops, and seeing all that stuff. And then you pull up to the next stoplight and you pass all these rows of abandoned gas stations, Frank's Gas or whatever. And it's just these gas stations look like casinos now.
It's crazy.
It's nuts, dude. It's like a complete different world,
When I'm driving across country, I daydream incessantly about buying an old motel and, reviving it.
Yeah, dude.
I don't know if it's probably not a profitable venture.
No. I've thought the same thing. Unless you lined up events and whatever, if you made it some sort of
But most of them are literally in the middle of nowhere.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right. Well, that's the thing, is it wasn't always the middle of nowhere before the interstates and the bypass roads and all that stuff. And we've kind of built our country and our system on convenience, fast right now, whatever gets me there quicker. And I think in this day and age, you kind of miss out on a lot of like charm,
Well, the Route 66, the most famous of such roads,
right.
You travel that part of that road where you can get off the interstate and go on that. And you think to yourself, you're like, man, why are there so many motels?
Yeah.
And why are they all so close together? You look at it and you're like, people used to drive across country in the 40s and 50s and 60s, and they couldn't do 1,000 miles in a day. They could only do a few hundred miles in a day. And, a lot of people were staying in these things, and it was like such a culture.
Yeah. That was the whole vacation.
Yeah.
Back in the day. It was like the journey was the vacation, not like I'm going to fly in, I'm going to sit on a beach, drink my martini. It was like, we're going to pack up the station wagon. We're going to go on the motorcycle. We're going to take the journey. And that was the best part.
And every one of those little towns had, very modest entertainment.
Yeah.
Mini golf courses and small swimming pools. And
right.
It was like, that's what you did. You know what I mean? It's like, and I love it.
Simple. Now everyone goes on vacation and they just stay on their phone.
Yeah, but like you said, they fly in, set destination, whatever. It's
Wi-Fi.
It's a different world. But riding your motorcycle across country by yourself, I've done a few times. I do love riding with a group of people or a few people or one other person, but there's something special about being alone on the road.
There's
for
something
days.
that happens to you when you're alone that can only happen to you when you're alone. The people you meet, conversations you have, like I did Sturgis 2 years ago. I had no plan, no reservations. Everyone I met on the road was like, dude, where are you staying? I was like, I don't know. They're like, everything's going to be sold out. But I pulled off on the main strip and there was a Comfort Inn. And I was like, I was waiting for gas. There was a big line at the gas station. I was like, I'm going to pop in real quick and see where they'd recommend I try to stay. Even if it's like 20 minutes out, if they can put me in the right direction. And I walk in and as I'm pulling open the door, someone pushes it open all pissed off and takes off, right? I'm like, what the fuck's this guy's problem? You know, I go up to the desk and I was like, hey, man, do you know anywhere, like, where would you suggest I stay in the whatever 20 mile circumference or whatever? And he's like, well, how long you staying? I was like, I don't know. He's like, well, that guy that just walked out had a room booked for 2 nights. So how long you staying?
2 nights.
I was like, 2 nights. He's like, his car got declined, man. You're good to go. It's yours. And I was like, no shit. And he pulled his computer out. He's like, we've been booked for months, man. And while I'm sitting there booking the room, 2 ladies came in trying to get a room, turned them down. But if I was with a group of people.
And you said, hey, y'all can stay in my room.
I try to be modest. I don't want to.
Yeah. It's just work. It's magic. Things work like that. Magic works when you're on the road.
100%. The way the universe kind of unfolds for you. You know,
when you're on the road with a group of people, you know, you ride and you stop every 150, 100, somewhere between 80 and 200 miles. You stop and get gas or stop and pee, stop and eat or whatever. And you conversate with those people that you're on the road with, and y'all chit chat in whatever minutes and get a snack or whatever and get back on the road. And then you do that over and over and over, but it's with that same people.
Right.
But when you're by yourself and that solitude on the road, it opens you up to chat with people. You know, where every time you stop, because people always, hey, oh, you're riding. Where are you going? Where are you from? What are you doing?
Right.
Blah, blah, blah. And you just kind of, if you're with a group of people, you don't really pay attention to the outside world. You're in your little bubble.
Yeah, absolutely.
When you're by yourself, you're just wandering loose.
Right. And you're kind of pulled so many different ways too. With this guy's got to pee, this guy's, got to make a phone call, whatever, But yeah, that last trip too, when I was on the road, in Sioux Falls, South Dakota, I got rained out pretty hard. And I ended up having like a 2-hour-long conversation with this gentleman named Gary that was going to Sturgis too. And now on this trip, when I was passing through Nashville, I met up with him. We got lunch.
Damn.
Like
I love this.
That's the shit, dude. Like those conversations, those connections with motorcycle riders and just the way it brings people together,
I mean, I've had these similar situations, and it's just so fucking cool. You'll meet somebody like Sturgis is a wild animal, and a lot of people will talk negative about the Sturgis experience or what it is, or it's blown out, or it's too many people, or it's this, or it's that, or it's like it's this scene or it's that scene. And I'm like, I tell people, I think, look, Sturgis is incredible, and there's a reason the rally is there,
right?
Because it's some of the best riding in the world,
absolutely.
But there's a reason it's there, and anything you have to complain about, you can find in Sturgis. If you're looking to complain about shit.
It's all perspective.
But anything you want to love, you can find in Sturgis. Like any scene, any group, any style, anything, whether it's music or motorcycles or people or whatever, everything exists there. So you can find your bubble there for sure. And you can find your scene there, and you can find like-minded people there. So I just tell people, if you're looking to complain, you're going to find it.
But that's life, though.
But if you're looking to have a good time, but you can't just naysay Sturgis because you've heard of this. It's all these rich doctors, weekend warrior bullshit. I'm like, yes. And it's chopper dudes that rode all across the country by themselves. And it's one lone dude that just rode from Massachusetts by himself with no room booked. You know what I mean? There's everything you can think of is out there.
Right. And there's a place for all of it. In tattooing and motorcycle culture, you know what I mean? You got the weekend warriors, you got the dudes that are building their own bikes. But, I think the perspective you were talking about too, like that's how life works.
Yes.
Like if you convince yourself it's negative, if you wake up and you say, man, today's a shitty day, you're going to look for evidence of that everywhere you fucking go. And it's going to be the worst day ever. But if you have a positive mental attitude, right, and the right mindset, and you project that, it's going to reflect. I feel like the world kind of reflects back whatever you're thinking.
Yeah.
You know?
Every morning I say, man, it's a beautiful day today. And a lot of times it is a beautiful blue sky. It's 70 degrees, you know, and everybody's like, yeah, it is a beautiful day. But then some days it's like freezing and raining, and some days it's 120 and hot. And I'm just like, man, it's a beautiful day today. And people are like,
yeah.
I'm like, it is.
Right.
It's going to be a beautiful day.
It's all about whatever frequency you're trying to feed, really.
You know? I mean, you nurture what you feed. You know that. There's that
100%.
That whole thing. So if you want to find something to complain about, there is no shortage.
Yeah.
Today's age is.
But there's so much beauty too. You know, like I said, passing through all the rusty tractors and the broken down hotels and motels. There's beauty in that too.
I love the modern day ruins. I daydream about it when I'm driving or riding a motorcycle by myself. I just, you know, I daydream about, you know, all kinds of shit. You contemplate life and make decisions and make plans for things that are never going to happen, you know, but it's like, I love the open road by myself.
And it reminds me that everything has its day.
Yeah.
And it's like a season, and like right now, everything you might be getting all these opportunities. It might be buzzing, but look at those ruins, dude. It's not going to last forever. And that's okay. You don't need to hold on to it and cling it. Just like kind of embrace whatever it turns into.
There's been times where I'm sad about the decay of things that I love so much, whether it's music or antique stuff or, you know, just time era stuff. I just relish it. You know, obviously I collect all kind of antique bullshit or whatever, but it's that cling to the past. But, you know,
like the mullet, dude. Let's talk about the mullet. We're gonna gloss over that.
I just got a new haircut.
Introduction of the new Oliver Peck.
By the time this episode airs, this mullet will be all over the internet already. Anyway, but I first haircut in about 18 or 20 years or something.
Dude, I love it.
Oh man, I'm gonna tell you, it feels good.
Yeah,
it feels real good. This. Cutting my hair into this mullet was mostly my girlfriend's idea. Mm-hmm. She prompted it. And I was like, I'm in. And she is under the impression that it's going to be like a short-term project. But man, this thing might have some longevity.
Oh, dude.
It feels so good.
It's permed.
Yeah.
I love it.
First perm of my life. 53 years old, got my first perm.
I just cut all my hair off too. And my girlfriend hated it.
Hated when you cut it?
She hated it, dude. She was so upset. Well, she had more attachment to my hair than I did.
But you had you had what I used to have, thick, luscious hair.
Yeah.
And so to be honest, I'm getting old, 53. But once I turned 50, my hair really got thin.
Right.
And it used to be down almost to my lower back and thick. And then, you know, 49, 50, 51, 52, my hair just gets shorter and thinner and thinner. And the other day, Audra's just like, well, babe, it might be time to give up on this long hair because it's getting pretty squeaky. And I was like, and I was like, well, you know, I kind of had this dream that I would just go out like George Carlin, you know, just have the receding hairline and just have this squeaky little ponytail still hanging out there. And she just looks at me with that look, and I'm like, it's time.
Yeah.
But the perm brought back some fullness.
Yeah, dude.
And the mullet is just, and when we're on the way, I went and got the perm first. Mm-hmm. And so I had all the long hair and the perm, which looked wild. Weird Al Yankovic looking, you know, just straight up. It was pretty funny. And so we're on the way to the barber to get the haircut. I was like, should I get lines in the side? And she goes, you got to get lines in the side. And I'm like, okay, we're in. But
next time we got to do like a Z.
Oh, something. I was thinking about, doing like, or the heartbeat.
Yeah, dude.
Yeah. If I could do the heartbeat, that would be pretty cool. The heartbeat on the side.
I love it, dude.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
It feels so good. Nothing feels better than just not giving a fuck.
Releasing, dude. Just letting it go.
Yeah, just not giving a fuck. And being willing to just look silly.
Right.
I've always been pretty good at looking silly, and making fun of myself and acting a fool. And the older you get, the harder it is. And it's one of the things that I've expressed, just about getting older is that, man, it's like, it's almost harder to be silly, because when you're young and you're silly, it's like everybody's, oh, that guy's crazy. But when you're old and silly, it's just, I'm like, I think we need to keep being silly alive, not taking yourself seriously. And, when I met you, you were rocking a persona, and it's like, is he really like that? People see you on the show and they're like, is he really like that? And I was like, man, yeah, he doesn't really he doesn't take himself that seriously enough to like have to be cool, but you were cool. You were very cool.
Thank you, man.
And sometimes you just got to be you got to make fun.
Yeah. That was really me too. Like the clothes and stuff.
But
like
great.
That was like, dude, the snakeskin pants. I got those were like ladies yoga pants I got at Walmart, dude. And then Frank Reddy.
I love it.
He thought they were funny as hell, so he ordered a pair too and had them shipped to the studio. But I think the biggest shift is people see me now and they're like, you've changed so much. And I agree with that. Like, and I want that. I want that evolution. I think the biggest thing with, I kind of got tired of meeting people and they're like, where are the snakeskin pants? Where are the American? It's like, dude, I'm pumping gas. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not just rocking snakeskin pants right now on the side of the highway. And it felt like people were coming to me more for that.
Yeah.
Right? This like idea of whoever they think I am. Right?
They want clean to be wearing a tank top.
Yeah. And there's also that pressure I would put on myself to live up to that.
Yeah.
Like give them that version of myself. And then it got to a point where I was like, no, I'm just going to kind of dial it back and just focus more on tattooing and the things that I love, riding motorcycles and being myself and, navigating this world I'm living in,
I've had ladies in particular, older ladies in particular, that for some reason the old ladies love me. The older the lady, the more they love me. It's like, it's a crazy, and I love them. I love them back.
It's the mullet.
But I've had, before the mullet, but I've had people email about getting tattooed and ask in the email, can Oliver be wearing his suit with no shirt on underneath? Yeah. And I'm like, I don't tattoo in a suit jacket with no shirt on.
I've gotten the same request. It's strange.
I know, it's crazy.
And
are you going to be wearing your American flag pants?
Yeah. And I think it's weird. I'm sure there was a part of me, my motivations wearing that stuff was to be sort of anti whatever was going on, anti the mall, anti Nike, like whatever, right? Finding things that called to me more.
Pause. We hate Nike. Okay, keep going.
Yeah. And then I think me stopping wearing all that shit was also the same motivation, being anti whatever people expected me to be.
Yeah.
That
makes sense.
Yeah. And I don't know what's right or wrong, right? But it's just a pattern I've noticed. I'm like, all right, how'd I get here?
I think you just take every day as it comes and do whatever feels right, whatever you want to do, whatever makes you happy, and keep on trucking.
And you got to be willing to change. You got to be willing to get moldy,
I don't change very much. And the comment you said about me not getting a haircut because I don't get haircuts was very true. So it's when I do make a change, it's very shocking. Like I wore like Dickies khakis for like a decade, 7 days a week, every single day for like 10 years. And then one day I showed up in jeans and everybody's like, whoa, what are you doing? I'm like, what? And like, you're wearing jeans? I'm like, I got jeans. And like, I've never seen you in jeans. And it was like this big crazy thing, you know what I mean? And it's like, but I do stay
I'm definitely a creature of habit.
Oh yeah. Well, now I'm onto the pocket tee.
Okay.
I got a t-shirt with a pocket.
Now? Yeah.
And now I can't even, when I put on a shirt that doesn't have a pocket, I'm like, I can't wear this today.
Yeah.
So now I have a lot of pocket tees, and now I have a lot of tees that don't even wear anymore just because they don't have a pocket in them.
Right.
I get in a thing.
Yeah.
But I do, man, I love a pocket tee. I'll go to like I go to the vendor section at like, Born Free, and I walk around all the vendor booths. I was like, hey, y'all, who's you got pocket tees? And they're like, yeah. I'm like, I'll take one. It's more about if it has a pocket or not. more than what the shirt is. If you're selling pocket tee, me and you are on the same wavelength, I'm going to buy one.
My favorite shirts ever are just those mom and pop little diners.
Well, you got the Clarksdale, like Mississippi Abe's Barbecue Drive-In.
So another thing, when I travel, I don't pack clothes. I just leave with the clothes on my back. And I go as long as until I'm like, all right, I got to change this. And I'll buy a new shirt and mail the other one home.
I love
or whatever. Right.
So when we were on Bike Riders Tour, I think it was 2 years ago, maybe. Yeah. We crossed paths with you in the middle of somewhere.
Tennessee, yeah.
And we hooked up for a day and hung out. And you told me, like, oh, yeah, I'm just like buying clothes on the road. And then you'd have one saddlebag that had like a grocery sack full of dirty clothes. Like, I need to go mail these home. And I was like, I love this.
Yeah, dude.
Because I've got like the saddlebags, the tour pack, a big duffel bag. And I'm packed. I was on the road for 2.5 weeks. And I had enough clothes for the whole trip, all packed, and had a dirty laundry bag. So I was like changing out. So I was like,
the planning it's good. I find, for me personally, I find more freedom in just like no preparation, just going with it.
In my instance, I'm packed to the gills. Mm-hmm. So if I go somewhere, I don't have room to buy another T-shirt from somewhere. Yeah,
you picked up that piece of driftwood from my house, and I should have brought it. I forgot, but I was packing light. Maybe I'll mail it to you. But I saved it.
I got to come back up there.
Yeah.
Hey, that was a nice piece of wood.
Yeah, it was cool. Yeah, but same thing. You didn't have room. You know, because you got everything you need. People, I think, when they travel, it's good to be prepared, but we forget that we're not going to fucking Mars.
It also depends on what the journey is. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
So for riding your motorcycle down here for Elmfest TacCon, did you mail all your tattoo stuff?
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah. My lady's flying in tonight. She brought some of it.
Cool.
So I'm gonna make room, and I wanted to pack super light, so I had room for. I might even. It's hot down here. I might mail my jacket home and shit like that, that I brought.
You mail your jacket home, and then you're riding home, you're going to hit the cold weather. That's what's going to happen.
We'll see. We'll see how it goes. I brought my full face helmet and shit. I don't think I've worn it once.
I mean, you look pretty tan.
Dude, absolutely. And it's I don't know. I like packing light.
You look less tan today than you did yesterday. So I think when you showed up last night, you probably had some
grime.
Some road grime on. Yeah,
definitely.
Washed off the road grime.
Yeah, riding through Mississippi, Arkansas, all that shit.
Oh man,
you can tell you're in the South when you see all the billboards for Jesus and lawyers.
Oh, a lot
it's like the two, the opposite ends of the spectrum.
Yeah, if Jesus didn't save you, we can hire this lawyer to sue the people.
Dude, 100%. Car accident, it's funny, but. Yeah, man, it's beautiful.
Well, how long have you had North Street Tattoo open?
North Street Tattoo, we started building it in 2020. Pandemic, and
so did you start after the pandemic had started?
Yeah.
Basically, you're like, now's a good time to open a business,
dude. That yeah. Well, for what it was, I came off of season 13, Think Master. I was a finalist.
The unofficial winner.
Right. And they split the check between the three of us. And
okay, we're going to come back to this topic, but keep going.
So they split the check between the three of us, and I never had a check like that before in my life, right?
Yeah.
And I was thinking at the time, all I wanted to do was pay the taxes that I owed, right? I was like, if I win, I'm going to pay off my taxes. I'm going to be good, right? And then from years of being strung out on drugs and letting bills fucking, build up and shit. So I was like, this is my chance, clean slate. And I was talking to somebody, and they're like, man, you should open a shop and then pay your taxes. So that's what I did. And obviously it wasn't enough to open a shop, but it was enough for me to change my perspective, where I was perfectly happy just working at the shop I was at. It was a great shop. The guy I worked for was awesome. My coworkers, all that stuff. But something shifted, and it changed. And coming back, we were closed down for 4 months during the pandemic in Massachusetts. And then coming back, I was like, man, maybe I should try to go out on my own. What do I have to lose? Because at this point, I just survived 4 months without work, right? I was selling paintings and Flash and stuff like that online to make ends meet. And I'm like, worst comes to worst, I'm in the same fucking spot.
Yeah.
Right? Like this is go time. So I went for it, and it's crazy, man. Like the day my check came in the mail, I was going for a run, and I see this little storefront, and I looked in the window and I could see it, dude. The whole thing, right? And the way North Street's built was me going crazy trying to explain to the contractors what I saw.
Yeah.
Right. And trying to like replicate the exact initial vision. And then when I stepped back to take a picture of the sign, the release sign, and take down the phone number, my phone rang, and I got the call like, hey, your check just came in. And I was standing out front of the shop, dude, goosebumps.
Yeah.
And I was like, all right, this is it. And then it was convincing this mom and pop operation they should run to a tattoo shop.
Yeah.
You know, motorcycles and all that stuff.
Well, the shop has got a really cool layout. And when I mean, it's beautiful inside now. I don't know exactly what it looked like before, but I remember seeing some, pictures of build out and stuff. But I was like, man, this place is cool. And you're like, yeah, it was pretty much like this.
Well,
like you added.
Well, so it had that same charm.
Yeah.
Right. It had like the tin walls. The ceiling had an original old tin ceiling that you see in like Northeast United States, like New England in particular. Those old tin ceilings, but it had been covered up with like shitty drywall or particle board drop ceiling.
Yeah.
Right. And I didn't even know that until I started pulling the drop ceiling down, because I was pulling the drop ceiling down so I could put up a tin ceiling, and it was an original one, but it had been so badly damaged,
Yeah.
So it had the charm. It had some of the same, like the way the walls, the tin on the walls, the wood on the walls. And then it was just like building the rest of it to match it. It felt more like a restoration project of like building it back to what it was. And then I found a friend of mine brought me these photos that they got down at like City Hall from the property in like, I think it was 1920 or something like that, around there. The building was built in 1900, around 1920. There was these photos of it was a drugstore, and there's old guys, the mustaches, dude, and it looked exactly how I built it.
Very cool.
Which was fucking crazy, right?
Very
like
cool.
Completely out of my control.
Well, you got that affinity for the old style.
Yeah, dude.
Yeah.
There's, I don't know, there's so much charm in the past,
And so now, 2025, you've been almost 5 years.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah, we just did 4 years. It took almost a year to build, with slow progress and prices and construction permits, all that stuff. So we built it, and then it did an extension, and we took over. There's this huge back half that we built out too.
That was like a garage, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So now there's 8 of us.
Very cool.
It's cool, man. I got such a good crew. I'm so lucky, living the dream, dude.
Yeah.
Living the dream I never thought I had. I never thought I wanted to own a shop. And I've learned so much about myself and people and relationships and boundaries and all that stuff that goes with owning a business, especially when your friends work with you, but it's just part of the evolution. It's been great.
Fucking great. So back up gotta talk shit about fucking Stinkmaster real fast. Fucking season 13, the whole thing, they, due to the pandemic, they canceled the live finale.
Right.
And the network, I enjoyed my time on the show, and it was great. And I'm very thankful to everybody involved for making that show. I think at one time, I think it was the best, of its kind of TV show. It's fucking did a lot of good for a lot of people.
Dude,
a lot of stuff,
changed everything.
lot of stuff to complain about as far as like tattoo reality goes, but the show was great. And but man, I gotta say that the fucking network, whoever was in charge at that time, they didn't give two shits, and they canceled the finale of the season, and everybody watched all 17, or what is it, 15 episodes, and then the 16th episode is supposed to be finale. They just canceled it. And I was like, well, you guys got to do something.
Yeah.
Like, you can do this virtual. You can do it in via whatever. You can video it all in people's houses and at least pick a winner and at least give the public something they got for. They watched 12 seasons of this show, and now you're just on the 13th season. You're just going to be like, wow, we don't care. Fuck, cancel it. They're like, nah, we're just going to split it between the 3 winners. I'm like, well, A, that's a cop-out to the people that dedicated to come be on the show.
Right.
But that's just a few people.
Right.
But we had a couple of million viewers a week.
Yeah.
And you're just going to be like, who cares about those people? Who cares about those people that watch this show? Who cares about those people that that the ad dollars made money because you had millions of viewers, and then you just dump them like you don't give 2 shits at the last. I was mind blown.
Yeah.
So me and Dave were like, well, we have to do something.
Yeah.
So we did our little Instagram thing where we looked over the final tattoos, blah, blah, blah. We took a vote from people at home. We did all this stuff. And that's when I said you're the unofficial winner of season 13, because from what had been done at that moment, you did win. And I think that the 3 people that were in the finale, literally any 3 of you could have won.
Oh.
Going, like, before any of the tattoos were done, the ability and the chances were there to go forward and kill it. So I kind of, to be honest with you, before any of that happened, and we filmed the last episode, and we're waiting for the live finale and hadn't seen any of the final tattoos yet, I would have kind of said Angel was probably in a favorite.
Me too.
Yeah, I was like, she's probably going to fucking
100%.
She's got a pretty good chance of winning. I think it's pretty all across the board. I would have given her a little bit higher chance than you and Bob, but it was close.
100%.
Because she's great.
She's incredible.
And
I think going into that, I definitely felt like the underdog in the situation, right? And
well, also because you had to do these styles.
Yeah.
And for you to have to do this style and her to have to do that style. And so the way the game plays out, it could have went any way.
Absolutely.
But she totally killed it on that biomech tattoo.
Yeah.
And then I would have expected Bob to do something different than what he did. And it just, sometimes you take a shot, sometimes it's not as sharp as you think. But, I mean, in the end, we agreed. And most of the people that were looking online and voted agreed. I mean, so I say you're the winner.
Thank you, man.
You didn't get all the money. I hate the cop-out. I hate that, like, when we're gambling and we're rolling dice and you got a bunch of people rolling dice and it's down to like 2 people, and then the 2 people are like, hey, let's just stop now and split the money. I'm like, no.
Let's see this thing through.
No, we all joined this game to win, and now y'all are just going to, like, not try to win? I hate that. It drives me crazy.
Well, I think say with Ink Master, for instance, there's a lot of ways you can win, right? There's the official winner.
Yeah.
And then there are people that have won, you never hear of them again. And then there are people that it completely changed their life, their career, right?
Yeah.
And it was like the rolling rock, the momentum, right, that they needed to, and that's how I feel like it was for me, right? Like, I didn't officially win, but it changed my life, and I was just grateful to be a part of it, right? And I recognize that that's somebody else's art, that's someone else's gig, that's producers, that's story, and just to be a small part of that. And the first time I did the show, season 11, I agreed to it not thinking I was going to win. I'd only been off drugs a very short period of time. I was relearning how to tattoo, but I was like, fuck it. I'm just sitting around waiting for walk-ins, and I wanted to see how TV worked, right?
Yeah.
Like, I love the art of storytelling.
Very interesting.
And and I was like, sign me up. I get to do this with my brother, Kyle. Whatever, let's do it, And I had never really watched too much of it. I watched, I think, season 8 because I was friends with Nikki Simpson, and I watched a little bit of her season. And then the first, 1 or 2 seasons, my son's mom at the time, we were still together, and she was into the show. So she would watch it, and I'd watch it with her.
I mean, the crazy thing, there are 2 crazy things. One is it's kind of like the curse of winning, because a lot of times it's like the people that come in second or third place end up like reaping more benefits in the afterlife of the show.
Because you always get the crowd that's like, they should have won.
Yeah.
Right? And then like that wave that pushes them forward.
But something about being the winner makes you, it gives you this unattainability feeling, you know.
So people don't even try.
And people are like, oh, he's probably way too booked, or he's
Mhm.
probably too expensive, or he's probably this. And I fought that for years of being on the show and then constantly still tattooing. I would have like a lot of people that was like, oh man, I thought I could never get tattooed by you. And a couple of guys that work for me are really, I mean, I have some great people that work for me, and that, like, they'll be tattooing, you know, people, and they're like, oh man, is Oliver ever here tattooing? And he's like, he tattoos 5 days a week.
Mhm.
And like, oh man, I wish I could. And they're like, hey, he's easy to get tattooed by. You just email and get in. And every week I tattoo somebody, and they're just like, man, I thought I was never going to be able to get tattooed.
Right.
So fighting that concept of unavailability is hard. And so the winners kind of get that a lot.
Right.
But the people that just do, even if people don't make it to the finale, people do a couple of good tattoos on that show. You got fans. People
Right.
want to get tattooed by you. People are going to think, oh, he shouldn't have went home when he did. And there's
Right.
always that.
It's the tattoos, but also it's an opportunity to, you know, people really connect with the characters.
Yeah.
Right. Like with the people, whether it's something, you know, where they're kind of describing their life back at home and the things that they've been through, and they can connect with that. And that's where I feel like, you know, Andrea and Story, and like, that's their shit.
They
right?
do a great,
they know how to crank that up.
They do a great job in the editing, because that's the one thing I explain to so many people is that, like, you don't really know everything that happens because there's so much.
Yeah. You're seeing like a highlight reel.
Dude, we're hundreds of hours and you see 42 minutes. You know what I mean? It's crazy.
100%.
It's crazy
Yeah.
how much they
It takes
back it down.
3 days to film one episode, 16-hour days, that whole thing. I always tell people when they ask, like, when they say, what was the hardest part of being on Ink Master? I was like, them turning on the lights at like 5:30, 6 a.m., saying you have to have mics on in a half hour, right? And there's one fucking shower, right? And there's like 20 dudes, right? Like, that's the real challenge. Like, all that stuff that you miss out on, and all the funny moments that don't make air, right? And it, like I said, 3 days of filming compressed to 45 minutes or whatever it is.
Man, I got a question for you about the shower, because I've talked about this before a few times. Was there ever a day that there was no hot water in the shower?
No, but I've heard tale that there's a little son of a bitch named Oliver Peck in the basement somewhere, fucking knocking on pipes.
Usually at least once a season, I used to sneak and turn the hot water off on a day that they had to get up early. So they'd like get up early and it'd be ice cold, no hot water at all.
Ah, dude.
So I did get caught doing that a few times. And they're like, you can't do it anymore. And then I did it. And then like, you can't do that. I was like, wasn't me. And they're like, we know it was you. I was like, wasn't me. Deny everything.
Yeah, now they know it was you.
Oh, they always.
Who else would it be, dude?
Well, they always knew it was me. And a lot of the PAs and people knew it was me. And they just like,
yeah,
they thought it was funny and whatever. But
that was
some of the artists were like, we know y'all are doing this on purpose, and they're like, we didn't do it on purpose.
Right. You were doing it on purpose.
I mean, I'm a little bit of a prankster, so I thought it was great. But back to the other topics about coming on the show, and you said you came on the show with no expectation of winning.
Dude. I was just like, all right, let me.
You gotta enter that kind of competition with like this open mind of whatever happens, I'm going to do whatever I can.
Yeah.
And there's some people that come in there with just overconfidence, and they're like, I'm going to win. And you're just like, day one, I'm like, they are not going to win. Right. And doesn't mean they suck. It doesn't mean they're no good. It doesn't mean anything, but I'm just like, there's no way they're not going to win. I could just tell they're not going to win, because sometimes that overconfidence like prohibits you from doing all the things that you really need to do to make it in that game.
Right.
Like the flash challenges and trying really hard to win the advantages, because the advantages add up to a lot.
Yeah.
And that's the thing that's like makes the game not really fair. And it's not really supposed to be fair. It's a reality game show. There's somebody's going to get this advantage, and that's going to help them out.
Right.
And that's not fair.
Yeah.
So but it is fair if you think about it, like, I won this thing to get this advantage, but that's what all these reality shows do, is they throw these little nuggets in there to like mix it up.
Right.
Because otherwise it's going to be boring. And otherwise the same guy is going to just do the same thing every week or whatever. So the people that come in there super confident and like, I'm the best and blah, 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 they're the people that resist doing what they don't want to do.
Well, that's all ego, dude.
Yeah.
And that, again, metaphor for life, right? Like in my life, I try to remain teachable. And I think I came out of Ink Master a much better tattooer because I haven't had a time in my entire career where somebody would rip apart my tattoos. And I didn't take it personal. I was like, all right, fair.
Yeah.
Like, cool. How do I do it better, right?
Yeah.
And then after season 11, I went home and I could hear your fucking voice in my head. Fucking, shit's jacked. Blah, 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 right? And my brother too, right? We talk about it all the time. Like, we never really zoomed in on tattoos and looked at every little line.
Which you really shouldn't.
No.
But in a game show reality thing, you have to.
Right. But it changed the way that I tattoo, and it changed my understanding on tattooing. And in a weird way, like, I'd been tattooing for a long time before I did the show, but it was kind of like a re-apprenticeship almost, right? And all the critiques and all that shit, it made me a better tattooer because I didn't go into it with ego and being like, I'm in control. No one's in fucking control in that environment. I don't even think the production's in control.
No, you push that snowball up the hill and you see where it rolls.
Dude,
you see what happens.
See what happens.
Yeah.
And if you
get the camera at the end to watch the crash. That's see what happens.
That's it. And then see how it looks in edit. But I think that's life.
Yeah. Well, when I first got, the first possibility of being on the show, it had these, went back and forth a bunch, and I started tattooing with older grumpy tattooers that would literally just rip you to shreds every single tat you did, and it's like after a while you kind of learned it, like, no, every tat I didn't suck, but if you think you're good, you're going to quit trying.
Yes.
It's the concept.
Yes.
And so, like, Richard would never compliment me on a good job.
Right.
He's always like, well, I should have done this, or it could have been that, or blah, blah, blah. And the entire time I worked for him, he never complimented my tattooing.
Right.
And years after I didn't work for him anymore, he told me he was proud of me and I was doing good and this and that, whatever.
Right.
And I was like, whoa, you never said that. He's like, well, I mean, I couldn't say it back then because I wanted you to keep trying.
Right.
And I was like, I thought you were just an asshole.
If you think you're good, you definitely do quit. If you think you're good, you definitely do quit trying. And I think, not to throw shade, but with my finale, I think that was the part that played to my advantage the most. Was I felt like I had to fucking go.
Yeah.
Right? I'm up against Angel and Bob. Their team was solid. They're both incredibly talented tattooers, and they're looking at it like, it's just Jimmy. You know what I mean? So I had to work way harder, and then because of that, I worked harder. I feel like,
Well, Richard said, the moment you think you're good, that's the best you'll ever be. That because that's when you reach, when you think you're good, that's where you're going to stay. Like, if you constantly surround yourself by people that you think are better, and you're constantly reaching up, you're gonna try harder. You're gonna try new things. You're gonna explore them. You're gonna what. So that's the thing. Once you think you're good, it's over.
Yeah.
So that's when I first started getting into the show and doing. I was like, this is exactly what I went through as a young tattooer, and I think obviously I was, the job was to rip every tattoo apart. No matter how good it is, you can zoom in enough to find something wrong with it, at least enough to shadow some question on who's going to win. Otherwise, depending on how we all critiqued it, it would just be too obvious who's going to win every week. You know what I mean? So no matter how good you are, you got to talk shit about it and give everybody. People are like, well, why do you talk? Why are you so mean? Or why? I was like, that's the fucking job.
Yeah.
My job isn't to fucking sit up here and just say, oh, you did a great job. Yeah. Like, boring.
It's called critique for a reason.
Yeah. So everybody gets shit on. Everybody also gets a little bit of praise. It's that, like, you beat them a little and then you give them a little treat, like kind of string them along.
Yeah, I definitely feel like I experienced that too. It wasn't all whatever makes air is whatever makes air, but when you're there, that's the real show. And you guys would say everything good and everything bad, if there was anything good or if there was anything bad.
Well, man, I also tried to, I think it would have been incredible for the fans if my idea was to have like possibly on a YouTube channel or something, that every week after the episode, you could show one full critique. Because most people don't know that when you watch the show, you see me say 1 minute worth of something, Dave say 1 minute, Nunez says 1 minute of what your critique is, and that what makes it to the TV show.
Right.
But in real life, you stand on that line with that spotlight on you for about 15 minutes.
Yeah.
And we all three just fucking talk for a long time.
Yeah.
Sometimes I go for 10 minutes just talking shit, and then they take that one little nugget of funny line in there and say, yeah, shit's wonky, but if you could watch that whole critique, you'd understand why these artists are like rattled to the core, and people are like, why did everybody? I'm like, dude, they set it up to like push people to their limits.
Yeah.
And it's, they got the system down.
Yeah. Oh, 100%. They get the formula. That's why the show is such a big success, even still now, it's incredible, So again, with that whole thing, I'm just grateful to be a part of it. With any opportunity I have, whether it's talking to a stranger in fucking Clarksdale, Mississippi, or filming television with you, or, flying out to Vegas and tattooing with DJ, or doing Elm Fest, or whatever it is, right? Like, that's just, I can't believe I get to be a part of it. Right. And that's the gift. Yeah.
It's great. It's you got to take the opportunities that are given to you.
Absolutely.
And you can't obsess over the opportunities that you don't get.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of people are like, why didn't I get that opportunity or whatever? No, you just don't, there's probably the people that are complaining about not getting the opportunities for certain things are probably passing up other opportunities.
That's what I was just going to say. It's like you're so focused on the opportunities you're not getting that you're missing out on every opportunity that you have. You're missing out on all the good you have and opportunity to connect with your kid or, your mother, your loved one or whatever, show up for your job. Like those are the opportunities that count,
Well, one of the things I learned early in tattooing is, do take those opportunities.
Yeah.
So when I first got invited to go do a guest spot at another shop, I was like, yes. Do I know anything about going to another shop? No. Do I know anything about this town I'm going to? No. But is it an opportunity to go learn something new? Then yes.
Mm-hmm.
And then I just got fucking hooked on traveling and going and seeing and working with other people. And, I was the guy at my shop that traveled the most.
Right.
And so I would go to conventions or go to a guest spot or go work with somebody or just go get tattooed at another shop in another state and hang out there. And I would come home, on Monday or Tuesday after and just tell everybody at the shop's like, oh my God, you got to see this. Oh my God, you got to check this out. Or, oh my God, I got this flash from so-and-so in Detroit or, whatever the case is. And I just was hooked.
Yeah.
Hooked on getting out and seeing and learning and knowing and networking and whatever. And it was just because I wanted to know, I wanted to see, I wanted to be, I wanted to experience.
It's a big world out there. And I think that's why it's so important to travel is for perspective. Because when every day is just homework, right? Seeing the same people or whatever, right? The smallest inconvenience or smallest problem can seem fucking massive to you, right? Because your world is so small. The smallest little explosion, it's got such a huge ripple effect. But when you open up your world and you see like all this shit that I'm stressed out about back home, really doesn't matter. You know what I mean? And that's what happens to me every time I travel, whether it's doing a guest spot or taking a motorcycle trip or whatever. It's just click
that reset button.
Yeah, dude, opening the barn doors and let some fucking air in, It's important.
Hell yeah. Very important. So what's you got a busy year this year?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, this year for me has been fucking busy so far.
Yeah.
But you are definitely taking advantage of a lot of opportunities. You've got events you're doing.
Yeah.
Last year you did a bike week event up in
Laconia.
And you're doing it again.
Doing it. So where I'm sitting right now, this is my first stop on this tour. I rode my bike down here. And then I'm doing guest spots all the way up to Ohio Bike Week and Sandusky. I know you're going to be in Ohio too for a party in the Pen.
Yes.
Right around the same time. But they have Ohio Bike Week in Sandusky. So I'm going to be tattooing at Harley Davidson there. My shop's riding their bikes out there to meet me. So there'll be 4 of us there. My girlfriend's also a tattooer, Zafira. She's going to be tattooing with us. And then we're going to ride back and we're going to get back just in time for Laconia Bike Week. And we do it all over again. So it's Ohio to Laconia, back to back.
That's fucking cool.
It's gonna be fucking awesome.
I love tattooing at these, motorcycle related events.
Yeah.
Whether it's like we're going last year we did the party at the Pen in Boise, fucking killer. Tattooing inside the prison. This year we're doing Ohio party at the Pen, but motorcycle events, Harley Davidson showroom events, just any kind of. People are like, isn't it a pain in the ass to pack up and move and go and do all that? I'm like, if you think about it as a pain in the ass, then yes.
Again, it's perspective.
But if you think about it as how much fun you're having while you're there, then all you have to do is pack your shit up and move it to this place to have all this fun. Then depends on how you look at it.
What I love about tattooing at Bike Week is it gets you out of your typical routine of like, you have all this flash, all your stuff. You spent like days or weeks preparing all this flash for Bike Week. You put it out on the table and people come up and they're like, oh, you do trad tats? Cool. I don't give a fuck. I want this dolphin with a Harley symbol. I'm like, cool, sit down, right? And you draw it on with Sharpies and you just go. And that's to me, that's what real tattooing is. I don't know. It's not about what's real or fake tattooing. I think there's a certain mystique and energy that tattooing can have when it is so fast paced like that.
Yeah.
Right. And it's not just like, oh, I show up at noon for my appointment. I have one appointment today. I'm going to spend all day doing it. And there's great art that you can create on that spectrum. And I think that's what's pushed tattooing along so far is the way the industry's kind of changed and the way the art is changed because of whatever, how many tattooers, private studios, whatever it is. But when you're tattooing at Harley Davidson for Bike Week, it is fucking insane.
I love it.
It's the best, dude.
I mean, I love obviously we talked about the affinity for the past, and I love old school tattooing. I love the old walk-in mentality. And so even my appointments, when I make appointments, I mean, I do at Elm Street, I pretty much only do appointments. I work, but I do 3, 4, 5 tats a day, but I treat my appointments like walk-ins.
Right.
Like, yes, you have an appointment at 2, but that means you walk in the door at 2, and as soon as I'm done with my previous tat, I walk to the counter and say, hey, how's it going? What are you getting today?
Right.
And they're like, you don't have it drawn up already? I was like, no. I'm going to draw it right now.
Yeah.
I treat it like, that way it keeps it fresh for me. I've also just kind of like, I've got this system down to where the customer is a part of the process.
Right.
I draw while they're there. I draw with them. I take what you want. You show me photos of things. I trace out the spot and I make a sketch. You like the sketch? I keep going. You want to change the sketch? I change the sketch, and that way together, me and you go through this process and then you get this tattoo and it works for me. Not everybody can do this. I don't expect everybody to do the same kind of thing. Right. But I just can't.
That's how I like to work.
I just can't draw the day before, the week before, or my mind's not in it.
Well, you see these people that spend hours or days preparing for
this kind
crazy
of
session, right? And then the client shows up and they want to make changes and they're like, fuck, I'm going to have to reschedule you for 6 months down the road,
Well, so people ask me like, well, what about when it's a back piece? And I'm like, same scenario.
Yeah. Just draw it, blow it up.
Well, I mean, if it's your first session on a back piece, then it's a longer session. Mm-hmm. There's a couple of hours in that appointment that are the drawing and stenciling time. Right. You know what I mean? I'm not going to, so yeah, that's just, it works out fucking great.
When I do back pieces, Chris Marchetto, he did my back and he really opened my mind to draw a back piece this big.
Yeah.
And then
blow it up.
It's going to be readable from across the fucking room. If it's readable this big, it's going to be readable, full length of a back.
And then you can add more detail.
Right. 100%.
But get the layout and the composition down.
Yeah.
At a small scale.
Yeah, absolutely. All the important parts, like you say, composition and contrast and all that shit. Right. So yeah, I like to work that way too. I draw typically I maybe start drawing a half hour, an hour before my appointment. And it's just a rough sketch that can be changed and molded. And I think that's important, having some sort of bendability to your approach,
What in the Duck podcast is proud to be sponsored by Legacy Ink, the finest in tattoo pigments. I've been using this ink exclusively for over 20 years myself. It has been recently rebranded and marketed, but it has been the same recipe for decades. Real, hand-mixed tattoo pigments that heal great and last. People always comment on the yellow that I use and the yellow tattooed on me, my favorite, the Mayan yellow. I have seen countless 20-plus-year-old tattoos with the colors still vivid. Don't duck around with all these newfangled companies with their watered-down baloney. Get the tried, true, and tested good shit. You can find them on Instagram at Legacy Pigments or email Ashley today to place an order at legacyartsupplies@gmail.com. Tell them Oliver sent you and receive a special discount. Don't just do tattoos. Be part of a legacy.
Definitely.
It doesn't work for everybody, but there's like tattooing is so multifaceted now, and there's so many different kinds of, so many different styles and different types of tattoo shops and different studios and so many different ways to go about it. And it's like, I think that, there's something for everybody out there. Right. Some people want to go have that consultation and have their tattoo drawn up months in advance and plan for it and blah, blah, blah. And then some people want to just walk in and get a tat.
Again, what doing Bike Week, that really introduced me to that. I feel like everyone talks about the slow that's happened in tattooing and oversaturation and private studios and whatever you think attributed to that. I think, in my opinion, one of the main contributors is tattooing got so fucking egotistical, where there isn't a shortage of people that want to get tattooed. To me, Ohio Bike Week, Laconia Bike Week, that proves that. Yeah. Like, we are slammed the entire time, right? Just tattooing, no time for breaks. There's a shortage of people that I feel want to wait 6 months, be told their idea sucks, right? And spend $3,500, $6,000 or whatever it is for this tattoo they didn't even really want. Yeah. Because it's about you and your Instagram presence and your ego and whatever your idea is of self, when really it's for the people, right? It can be for you too as an artist, right? But I think ultimately it's your job to be that kind of magician, and you're transforming people. Like, they're stuck with that tattoo forever. For you, you post it, it either tanks or it does well, and then you move on and you're posting another tattoo and whatever, right? And I think that's definitely, in my opinion, one of the contributors to this weird niche we've gotten in. It's not just TV. It's not just Instagram. It's not just art school kids.
It's not just the economy. It's not just this.
It's not just all those things. But I think a part of it, like, I think it's important to look at yourself and be like, okay, what's my contribution to how it's gotten like this?
Well, I remember a time, 15 plus years ago, when tattooing made a big shift from, it used to be like when the first 10 years I tattooed, everybody walked in, looked at the flash, and picked what they wanted. Yeah. And that was just how it was.
That was it.
And you had to get, like, if you knew that this certain thing was popular, somebody say, hey, we got this page of flash. It's really popular. You're like, let's get that page of flash. And you'd put it up and people were like, oh yeah, that's the tribal center around the belly button. Everybody wants that. So it's like, that was the standard routine. People walk in the door, they look at all the designs, they tell you what you want. Yeah. And then it became increasingly more popular to get a custom tattoo. Yeah. And this is still pre-internet, right? Right. But people like, I want a custom tattoo. And they were finding images, untattoo related images from not tattoo magazines, and saying, I want this as a tattoo. And you're like, oh, that's easy. I'll just trace that and make it a tattoo, whatever. And then it became kind of like not cool to pick off the wall. Yeah. Well, I don't want something off the wall, And so that was like a big shift in tattooing. And it's like, everybody had to, like, you have any drawings that you did? Yeah. And so all these people, instead of having flash on the wall, they just had a sketch pad of drawings of stuff. Instead of it being on the wall, it's just in a sketch pad. Yeah. And so you're like, oh, here's my drawings. And people look through the drawings. Oh, I really like this. My artist drew this up himself. You know what I mean? Or they'd bring in something that their cousin drew. I'm like, my cousin's a really good artist. He drew this. I'm like, okay, I can do it. Right. And then the internet came out. And then it was like, everybody instantly went right back to the mentality of getting it off the wall. It just wasn't off the wall anymore. It's just on the internet.
Yeah.
And so they'd come in like, well, I don't want something off the wall. I want this. And it's on the internet.
Yeah.
And you're like, that's just Google search. It's like, the wall is better. The wall is actually a tattoo, right? And so we went through these years of people like, why? And, you just have to just bite the bullet and be like, oh, and appease them because they're like, I don't want it off the wall. I want this. And you're like, yeah, I did 10 of those last week.
Right.
The exact same one. Right off the, because the early years, Google, the early years of the internet.
Yeah.
Like you would, if 100 people Google search the same thing, they get the same 3 images, right? And so it's like all these people, well, I got this design. You're like, oh yeah, you get real, you want something original.
I remember I had the same koi fish line drawing that we all just, it was in the stencil room taped to the wall. We all just fucking used it,
But nowadays, I think the people that like old tattoos have got this affinity for getting old flash back. And it's getting increasingly more popular. And for Elm Street, we've always been a walk-in. Like we do it. People do appointments and people make, do custom tattoos and blah, blah, blah. But we've always been a walk-in shop. We've always promoted and people know that you can just walk into Elm Street 7 days a week and get a tat.
I think, especially in days like today, places like Elm Street Tattoo just don't really exist anywhere else.
There's a few, but this last couple of years, it's been great for Elm Street because most shops have elevated to the point where everybody's got to get a consultation. Everybody's got to have an appointment weeks in advance to even get a consultation. And people know they can just walk into Elm Street.
Dude, it's magic.
And so you see this last year, all these people that were appointment only are now walk-ins available.
Right.
Like they're trying to jump back on the walk-in train when it's slow. Once their appointments slow down, they're like, wait, we can do walk-ins too. And I'm like, we never didn't do walk-ins. So it's been great for us.
Yeah. When I pulled up last night, I think I got into town. It was about 10 o'clock, 9:30, 10. And I walk in and you guys are just cranking. Right. And I went out and got dinner with Juan Puente, which was fucking cool.
At the Brick and Bone. We'll shout out to Brick and Bone, buddy Cliff.
That was tight. Great conversation. Great dude. And I come back and there's more people sitting, like different people in the chair, right? And more people waiting. And I was gone, about an hour or whatever it was. And just to see that at 10 o'clock at night, I don't know. I don't see that
on a Tuesday night.
Yeah, dude. It's incredible.
We love it. So last night was great. Jimmy showed up at the shop right after I finished tattooing. Juan Puente had just walked in. He got in town too. Y'all didn't get introduced. You were talking to so-and-so, Juan was talking to so-and-so, and then you were like, hey, I'm going to go eat, blah, blah, blah. I'm thinking about going up the street or whatever. And I was like, oh, we'll go to this place. And he's like, okay, cool. And then you walked out your bike, and then Juan was like, hey, I'm thinking about going to eat. And I was like, hold on a second. And I'm like, run out front, and I'm like, Jimmy, this is Juan Puente. Juan Puente, this is Jimmy Snaz. Y'all both want to go eat. And they're like, let's go.
We got this thing in common right now.
Yeah. And both of you guys were just like, cool, let's go eat.
Yeah.
I mean,
yeah, that was dope.
Really cool. I mean, both of you guys are great guys. I know. And I know you know who Juan is for forever.
It was funny. There was a part of me, I sat there and I'm just having dinner and conversation with this dude that's friends with Oliver. And I know he's Juan Puente, but there was a couple parts in the conversation where I really realized it's Juan Puente. You know what I mean? I'm like, all right, and I don't know, it's just dope being able to, see the human.
Yeah, he's a fucking great guy. I met Juan when I was really young tattooing. First time I went to California to work with Eric Mosky. Juan was there.
Yeah.
I met Juan, got a tattoo machine from Juan. A large percentage of the tattoos I've done in my life have been with Juan Puente tattoo machines.
Yeah.
I've known him it's been over 30 years now. And he's as solid as a rock. Great fucking guy.
So cool.
Great fucking tattooer and just a beautiful person.
Right.
I'm glad y'all got to hang out.
Oh, dude, it was awesome. Last time I was out here, I connected with Tim Hendricks too. Same deal. Just conference. I think I got tattooed. Yeah, I got tattooed by Tim. And then I went out and I guest spotted at Classic.
What a great shop.
Dude, and Tim's the coolest fucking dude too. Right? Great shop. Cool dude. And so anytime I come to Elm Fest, I feel like I'm making a new friend.
Yeah.
You
That's
know?
good. That's good,
It's
man.
pretty cool. And that's the best thing, in my opinion, about this convention, right? And Elm Street Tattoo, and the family and the network, and all the friendship, and the just that circle of great people. It's, I don't know, it feels like home when you come back, right?
Yeah,
People I've never met before that I feel completely comfortable around.
I kind of I describe Elm Fest is like a tattoo convention and meets family dinner style. You know, because it's not like convention where everybody's separated between barriers and everybody.
Right.
Like I tell people, like it's a 1-person tat station, not a single booth, and it's a shared space. You know what I mean? It's just, we're all in it. Yeah. It's just a small little deal, and it's what it's for. Yeah, it's to cultivate these relationships and give people these opportunities. And like you come there, you meet Tim, you go work at Tim's. That's exactly what should happen. Absolutely.
I also Chuco too. I met him, and
Chuco's supposed to be here this weekend, but he has gangster life problems. His kid's got some stuff, some bad shit. Yeah, he's got some. He can't make it. So sorry. Sorry to all the Chuco fans. They're not going to get tattooed this weekend.
Well, he was a cool ass dude too.
Great fucking guy.
So I met him at Elm Fest 2 years ago, and when I was working in Columbia, South Carolina, at a shop called Divine Street Tattoo, one day I show up for work, like the day after, like I had my day off or whatever, and I show up, and this dude Dave, rest in peace, Dave Iaquinta, he passed away, but he's like, bro, you'll never fucking guess what happened. I was like, what? He's like, Chuco Marino showed up at the shop and he tattooed me. I was like, what? He's like, it was my birthday. He was like, yeah, fucking whatever, I'll tattoo you. I was like, I didn't believe him at first, and he was showing me pictures. And then, he just was passing through South Carolina, some family stuff going on or whatever, and just a real deal tattooer pops into a tattoo shop. The dude's like, you're Chuco, I'd love to get a tattoo from you. He's like, cool, let's go.
I love it.
And just tattooed him. And I got to talk to Chuco about that. And he remembered Dave. He's like, yeah, I remember that dude, and that was cool, man. Tattooing's this incredible, like, river, this force that kind of connects all these people, That's my favorite part about it. Just all these people and the relationships and the connection and all that stuff. It's not, for me, it's not just the art or the personas or this style versus that style or this shop or your social media following. It's just like connecting with the human being behind all of it. Right?
When I was younger, I went to a shitload of tattoo conventions all over the country, just everyone I could get into. But now I go to conventions more based on who else is going to be at the convention. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Yeah. Like, oh, well, so-and-so's going to this, I'm going to go to that. Oh, we're all going to go to this together. So it's like, it is, for a lot of years, all through the early 2000s, it was like this, it was just like, I was going to 10 plus conventions a year, but it's like the same group of people, you know, that go to most of them. So it's like just this constant revolving reunion of people getting together. And sometimes you get on a run where you and this certain group of people are going to so much conventions together, you end up like spending more time with those people than you do most other people. Like me and Greg Christian, we do like a lot of shows together, a lot of traveling together. So it's like, I almost spend as much time with Greg as I do with anybody in my own shop.
I love running into Greg,
And you went to Greg's shop.
Yeah. 2 years ago, whatever, when I took that trip out to Sturgis, stayed at his house, tattooed at his shop.
Dude, who's got the best guest house in tattooing? Greg Christian.
I don't know. I think this one. This place is crazy.
Yeah, but I'm talking about like the hospitality and you got your own bedroom,
100%.
like all these bedrooms. It's like
Cindy's amazing. Yeah, Oh my God, Baron, just good people.
I went and stayed at Baron's house, and he's like, "Hey, bud, how about you like staying at my house?" I was like, not as nice as Greg's.
Yeah, Greg's backyard.
And he's like, and Baron's like, what do you mean, bud? What do you mean? I was like, well, you got to go to Greg's, bud. You got to see what it's like.
Yeah, you've been to my house too. Houses are cool.
Oh man,
seeing where people live and
you got the best backyard.
It's the best, dude. It's a gift. New Hampshire.
Jimmy lives on a river, and it's like his own personal swimming pool.
Dude, White Mountains, New Hampshire.
Insanity.
I deal with a little bit of a commute from the shop, North Street Tattoo in Salem, but for me, it's worth it.
I mean, it would be worth it when it's nice to ride a motorcycle.
Yeah.
But when it's
sometimes it feels
winter,
long. It's about an hour, 40 minutes, which for perspective, right? When I lived in Boston and I worked in Cambridge, it would take me an hour and a half to get from Boston to work.
Because of traffic.
Yeah. This is like a smooth, no traffic ride, right? And then
it's a beautiful ride too.
My first day on this leg of this tour is 15 hours, right? And so it's like an hour and a half is shit. You know, like when you're on a tour like this, you're like, it's only 4 hours. I'll just dip over that way. Right?
Yeah.
Like I talked to you yesterday. You're like, I was like, I'm close. I'm like 5 hours away.
I might as well take an extra hour.
Yeah. I was like, I'm gonna go the scenic route. You know, so
I'm pretty spoiled. I'm like, my work is like less than 10 minutes.
Right.
No highway, right down the street.
Yeah.
So, pretty easy. I got to be at work at noon. I leave the house at like 11:45.
I love being on the road though.
Yeah.
You know, like having that chance to meditate, you know, whatever, driving, listening, whatever it does to you, whether you're on a motorcycle or in your vehicle, your car, whatever.
But you're doing a couple days. You're not commuting set every single day, right?
No, I'm there 3 days a week right now.
But where do you stay when you're at the shop?
In Salem. But I got a little place I'll crash. Yeah.
Okay.
So, you know, but
your brother lives right across the street.
Yeah, exactly. So, but most times I'll just do the commute. You know, if I can, like if I'm up for it. But sometimes when I do work, you know, I'm working 3 days a week, but I'm working long days.
Yeah.
So sometimes I'm fucking fried, you know, and I'm just gonna call it quits and stay here tonight. But
you think about doing any tats on the other side?
On the other side of what?
Like over in New Hampshire.
Oh, dude, 100%. I would love to. That would be a dream for me, for my lady too. She would love to be able to tattoo up there.
Yeah.
You know? I'd love to open up a little spot, but I have respect for the locals, their community, their their shops and stuff. I know I could work at one of those shops if I wanted, but I know down the line I'd want to do my own thing, and I feel like it would be kind of disrespectful to move in, work at someone's shop, and then just be like, all right, I'm out. I'm going to go open my own now. So I don't know where I'm at with that yet, but I would definitely like to settle up in New Hampshire. For me, there's nothing like the White Mountains of New Hampshire, you know? So
it's beautiful. It's beautiful up there. I just can't live where it gets cold like that.
Yeah, that's the worst part.
I can't live where it gets cold. I mean, I could the summertime I could handle it for sure.
Yeah. It's been a tough winter too for me. Dude, snow on top of snow on top of snow.
Well, it's like
I got hurt in Greece, so I feel like motorcycle season ended a lot earlier for me than it should have. I had like
how bad was this injury?
Oh, I was in a wheelchair for 8 weeks.
Damn it.
I couldn't walk. Nothing broken. It was just
tattooing in a wheelchair?
No, and then my elbow was broken too. So I had a
Wait,
cast.
nothing was broken or the elbow was broken?
My elbow was broken, but nothing was broken in my legs. And so I went to I got it was a moped wreck in Greece on a little island, and
was it like stone driveway? Stone road?
Dude, tiny little narrow roads, right? Tiny little cars, no traffic laws. Just fucking go
free for all.
Dude, just windy, tiny little streets and roads. Everything's real tight, close together. And so I'm not surprised. I'm definitely not surprised. Like, 15 hours, in a stretch, no big deal on a Harley Davidson, but it's sketchy there. And everyone's, dude, you'll see like a moped with a dude drinking a beer. He's got his kid, his dog, his wife, his mistress, all on the same fucking thing. Just, flip-flops on, going crazy. And, but when I got hurt, I didn't want to go to the hospital. I thought I was fine. I thought I could kind of walk it off. I knew I was hurt, but I was like, I'll be all right. I'll be all right. And I was limping, trying to walk it off, all scraped up. And, so I go to the hospital because I don't have health insurance and shit. I'm like, I don't want to fucking deal with this. I'm used to America where it's going to be minimum 10, 15 grand, right? Just to walk in for them to see you. And I'm like, I don't want to, I'm good. I'm fine. They're like, no, you're not good, dude. Go in there. So I go in and they're like, you don't have insurance. I was like, no. And they're like, well, you're going to have to pay out of pocket. I was like, fuck. All right. They bring me order billing, €50. $50. That's how much it costs. X-rays, whole 9 yards. But I mean, they were smoking cigarettes in the hospital. So I was like, I don't care if you're fucking smoking crack, dude. $50, dude.
$50.
You know what I mean? Wrap me up, dude. So they're like, yeah, you're good. It's not broken. It's fine. You know, my elbow was broken, but with my leg, that was the worst part. And they didn't do MRIs or anything. So I assume it was just really bad sprain.
Yeah.
But that was tough. So that ended motorcycle season early for me. And then by the time I was healed up, I still had my cast on, and I knew the warm weather was like gone. So as soon as I could walk, I was riding again with my cast on, you know, as long as I could like get to that clutch. I'd be like, all right, I can, you know, I'll just kind of keep my arm down in my sling, and then just up in the mountains, it's fine, dude. No traffic.
Oh, man. Insanity. Yeah. All my friends that live in the north, they put their bikes up for months at a time. And I was like, oh, I can handle it.
It's the worst. That's when I end up buying another bike, because I sit there and think about riding motorcycles for an entire fucking winter. And then I'm looking at motorcycles, and I'm like researching motorcycles. And I'm like, what if I buy this one and paint it like, you know? And that's when just being stuck like that, there's something in my soul, I feel like, that needs to go and move. And when I'm stuck, dude, it's like my mind is still going.
Yeah.
Like 1,000,000 miles an hour, you know? So that's why I don't know, I thrive in the summers.
Oh, man.
You know? Where I can move.
I'm going to take a quick pee break.
Yeah, do your thing.
How's that coffee?
It's good, man. Thank you.
Just black coffee.
Yeah.
I can't do it.
Why?
I got to have the stuff.
Why?
I got to have the milk, the oat milk, the cinnamon, the vanilla, and the sweetener. I just can't do the black coffee. It's like,
yeah, it's. I mean, it's harsh, but I don't know. When I do these trips too, I fast.
Yeah, you were telling me this.
It's cool, and it's good for the reset. I feel like traveling light, not fucking filling yourself up with a bunch of shit. You know, for me, it's important.
Yeah, I do. We were talking about this. I do one or the other. I either lose weight on a trip or gain weight on a trip, depending on what kind of trip it is.
Yeah.
But like, man, we just went to Israel, and we were there for like 2 weeks, and we ate like more than I've ever eaten in my life. Like literally, we were eating 3 meals a day because we were with the group, and it was like, oh, we're eating here, we're breakfast here, lunch here, dinner here, breakfast here, lunch here, dinner here. And like in my normal life, I don't eat 3 full meals a day. Like it's insane. I mean, I usually eat a little bit of something early, and then I eat at dinner or whatever. But yeah, we were gorged.
When I was in Greece, it was like that too. I feel like their culture is different. What's it, siesta or whatever, when they close shit down?
Everything's
I forget
like
what it's called. Yeah, right. And they'll take the break in the middle of the day to go eat, spend time with their family, or whatever.
Just lay down in the store with the door shut. Like,
yeah,
you like look in there and they're just laying on,
just chilling, taking a nap.
Yeah,
but yeah, I mean, everything. Obviously, I was on vacation in Greece, but I felt like the culture there in general was more centered around family, togetherness, food. Right, like sitting down, having a meal with people, and I feel like here it's just go, consume.
Yeah, commerce driven.
Yeah.
Commerce driven.
It keeps us in this loop.
We are consumers.
Yeah, we consume and we spend, so we have to consume again, and it's just like this fucking loop that we're stuck in. You know,
I mean,
I'm part of it. I know I'm in it.
It's hard to get out of that loop.
Right.
It's hard to get out of that loop. I mean, I am definitely heavily commerce driven.
Yeah.
Like I like to work. I'm a workaholic. I like to work and be a part of that side of it. But then I also like to go out and
I'm sure you get a sense
acquire things.
I'm sure you get a sense of your value from that, though, from working, from that accomplishment, from like, not on the ego level, but from like being Oliver Peck, the tattoo artist. It gives you the sense of identity. I know it does for me too, right? And I think that's a natural part of why we do what we do.
Yeah, I mean, being at the tattoo shop is one of my favorite places in the world. I mean, it's like, I love it. And, you know, for years I would travel the world and just go to tattoo shops.
Yeah.
It's like, that's most of what I did when I traveled.
Well, right now I'm working 3 days a week. And for me, I know it's not forever. I'm probably going to have to get to a point where I got to work more, or I might get to a point where I work less. I don't know. Right. But right now it's my focus is balance, right? Time for myself, time for my kid, time for my woman, time to be at work and handle the shop. Right. And I was talking to another tattooer, not going to say names, but I saw him at a convention and he was busting my balls about it. Like, you're only working 3 days a week, you got the owner's curse or whatever, right? He's like, I'm working 7. And he's been like that for years. And he's one of the hardest working dudes I know. But his sense of value comes from being in the tattoo shop. He doesn't want to be at home.
Yeah.
He doesn't want to be around, kids, family, whatever, because where he feels respected the most is when a client sits down in his chair and is like, you're so-and-so, right? And there's some sort of sense of value that gives him to himself, so he's feeding off of that and thriving off of it. You know what I mean? And I think it just ultimately in life, it's important to recognize where that value of self comes from, right? And
4 days a week to do all that other things. I mean, is
sometimes I feel like sometimes I'm like, man, I'm working too much. And sometimes I feel like I'm working too little, right? It's just whatever my perspective's on.
But I don't have kids. I don't want kids. But one thing I definitely understand and respect is if you have kids, you need to dedicate time to this child,
right.
And I had one parent that dedicated 0 time to me, and I had another parent that dedicated all of their time to me.
Right.
You know what I mean? And like my mother was like, the number one mom. Like she was, for the formative years of my adolescence, she had no social life at all outside.
Right.
She worked and spent time with me. It was like, that was it. And
how do you feel like she's doing now that you're older?
She's doing great. She's retired. She's got a dog. Her and my stepdad are just living a dream.
That's awesome, dude.
But a lot of people I know, like, they got kids and they don't do that much shit with their kid,
right?
And I'm just like,
sometimes
I understand, but I also know people that have kids and they the main story is that I have a friend. We do all this shit together. We ride motorcycles together. We travel together. We do all these things. Then they have a kid, never see him again.
Right.
Which I understand. You got a kid. The kid needs you.
Right.
More than I need you.
Yeah.
Like, see you later. But, I've had a lot of friends in the last 20 years that we used to be super close and now I never see them, but they have children. And that is that's where your life took a turn and you went down that road.
Yeah. My son lives with his mom, and I feel like since she has him most of the time, I'm sure there is a lot of quality time, but there's so much more that she has to do as a parent, right?
Yeah.
Like being on top of schoolwork. And then when I get him, I either
party time.
Yeah, it's party time, or I have to carry through the sentence that he's accumulated over the week. Like, he's in trouble for this. And it's like, I gotta, you know what I mean? So, I'm like, dude, you're fucking up my weekend now. You know what I mean? Because now I can't do fun shit with you because you didn't do your fucking schoolwork or whatever, So,
and if you don't uphold,
then
he has no structure.
Yeah. And structure is so important, dude.
How old's this kid?
He's 13.
I mean, it's an important time.
You met him. Dude,
yeah.
Funny story. You were busting his balls about the Crocs he was wearing. Dude, the next day, his mom texted me. She's like, Salem wants to get rid of his Crocs and he wants Converse.
Good
dude,
boy.
You made an impression.
Good kid.
So funny, dude.
So there's been some ongoing banter about these Crocs.
Yeah.
With different people, but man, I just can't abide by the Croc mentality.
I just
don't subscribe to that level of disregard for self-respect. I just can't get on board with it.
Yeah.
I just can't. And most people that wear them say the same thing. Oh, they're comfortable. Oh, I don't care. Oh, I'm just doing this. I'm like,
comfort isn't always your friend.
No, but even if it's not comfort, it's like, oh, it doesn't matter. And it's always, you can always get to the point where they just don't care.
Right.
You gave up. You got to a point in your life where you don't care anymore. and you just put on Crocs.
Right.
I don't ever want to get to that point.
Right.
I don't ever want to not care. Not even in my own house by myself, I don't want to not care enough. Like, I don't want to care so little that I just do mindless stupidity. You know, I just don't want it. So I do when I see people wearing Crocs, I do make fun of them. Some people are like all aboard Croc train, like Big Daddy Jazz.
Yeah.
He's like,
oh, dude, I love Jazz so
he's
much.
like, he is taking it. He literally wears nothing but Crocs.
Yeah.
And he's like, he's got stickers of him in a Croc. Like, he's and I'm just like, no way, bro. Can't fucking do it. He's like, I'm going to buy you Crocs. I'm like, don't do it.
He's one of my favorite people to catch on the road, too. He's so good.
Love the Big Daddy Jazz.
He's got a good soul to him, you know?
But he does wear Crocs. But yeah, I will give some people some shit over the Crocs thing, and I just, no way.
It goes back to your level of value, right? Like, if you get your value from if other people think you're cool, or if you just want to be fucking comfortable, you know? So.
I don't know. I don't like it. I can't even fucking, I can't believe that they're so widespread.
Yeah.
Same with Uggs. I never liked the Uggs thing either.
Yeah.
I got in trouble on Ink Master over Uggs. There was a girl that was wearing Uggs on the show, and I refused to call her anything other than the nickname I gave her, which was Shit Boots.
Jesus Christ.
And people would, and I'm like, oh, Shit Boots? And I would call her Shit Boots, and they're like, hey, you can't call her Shit Boots. I'm like, hey, her name's Shit Boots. And then when people would like talk to me about said person, I'm like, who are you talking about?
Right.
And like, oh, it's fucking so-and-so. And I'm like, I don't know that person. And like, you know that person. I'm like, I don't know her. Shit Boots. Talking about Shit Boots? And that got,
right.
I got reprimanded for, what do they call it? I don't know what they call it. When you just, I mean, not bullying, but harassment.
Okay.
I was harassing this person. I'm like, she's harassing me with those fucking shit boots. You can't just walk in here with the fucking shit on your feet and act like it doesn't fucking stink. That doesn't fucking work. Yeah, I was like, yeah, no go on the shit boots. No go on the Crocs.
When you have a kid, though, I think it's cool to see him in all of his phases, because I recognize at first you're like, oh, dude, don't be doing this, but you kind of hope, right? You can look back at your life and be like, I remember when I did just this, or I wore just this, or I was into this type of music, or I had these type of friends. So
you do want your kid to have some individuality from your own persona. So you
100%.
want them, but you also, from my point of view, I would be a terrible parent because I would not allow certain things. Like if I had a teenage daughter, I was like, no Taylor Swift in my house. Yeah. You want to listen to Taylor Swift? Get your own fucking house. You know,
but that creates that certain level of rebellion.
I would be a terrible parent. You know, if my kid wanted to wear Crocs, I'm like, not my fucking house. Right. Where are you going to get these Crocs? Not with my fucking money. You know what I mean? No fucking way. And so I would just, there is a certain amount of being an individual, but there's also a certain amount of just doing things because everybody else is doing it. Yeah. And at some point in your growing up, you do things because what you're influenced by, you know, which we all did, which I did, but I was just influenced by people that I thought was cool. So I thought I was different. Right. I didn't realize that the other people doing other things were just influenced by people they thought were cool. And so it's all the same.
Yeah, 100%.
But I still have in my mind things that I can't let go.
Right.
So
growing up for me, my mom was pretty on board with pretty much everything I got into. Like whether it was music, fashion shit. When I got into graffiti, that's how I got into tattooing. I went through the vessel of graffiti first and getting arrested and all that shit. My poor mother, dude. Had to take time off from work, take me to court, all that stuff. And she was still like in a weird way. She didn't like I was getting in trouble, but liked the fact I was making art. So when I got into tattooing, she was just like, yes. She just wanted me to graduate high school. You know what I mean? And then, I got into tattooing and she was like, go for it.
My mom was super supportive of everything I ever did, whether it was have long hair or get my ears pierced or tattoo myself or any of the bullshit I did. Right. Yeah, super supportive. She wanted me to graduate high school so bad. She did much of my work. Because I was just not going to do it. It has to get done,
so
mom.
she graduated high school twice.
Yeah. I mean, 100% I would not have graduated high school without her doing like my senior term theme and stuff like that. Because I was like, I guess I just can't do it. It seems I've reached this impasse of impossible duties that I cannot complete. I guess I just won't graduate high school. You have to.
Right. Yeah, it's cool to see my kid in that. So he's kind of in that phase too, where he doesn't give a fuck about his schoolwork. He doesn't give a fuck about whatever structures his mom's setting up for him or things I'm trying to get him to do, help with the yard work or anything like that.
Tell him I said school's for fools. He should drop out.
Well, you told him he should get a tattoo when you met him.
Yeah, he should.
And he was like, "Oh, my mom would be upset." And you were like, "So what? so what? She's gonna love you anyways."
Yeah, what's she gonna do?
Yeah,
she'll get over it.
Yeah, it was funny, man. But it's cool to see that and like see a part of myself and my past. And then that gentleman that I met on the road who I had
Gary.
Yeah, Gary, right? Connecting with him, I feel like he's future version of me.
Yeah.
So it's cool. I'm in this kind of place right now that I feel like I'm exactly where I'm supposed to be, where I get reminders from my kid, surrounding myself with him and the things he's into and the things he cares about and the things he doesn't care about. And then, connecting with a gentleman like Gary on the road and seeing like a future version of myself. It's pretty cool. I'm in a pretty cool spot right now.
Sounds really cool.
Yeah.
I mean, a 13-year-old kid sounds like a lot of work.
But he's the funniest dude I've ever met. His level of humor, I know around you he was shy because you're intimidating somehow. You're his size, but like a lot older and louder. And he's like, what the fuck do I do with this guy? But when he's comfortable, dude, he is the funniest. Out of all my friends, like his level of humor is, I've never talked to him like a kid.
Yeah.
I've always like explained things to him and talked to him like an adult. I recognize he's a kid. I'm not trying to push adulthood onto him, but I've talked to him like an adult, like how I would like, a peer or whatever. Because I want him to truly understand, not just, no, don't do this because I said so. It's like, no, don't do this because this will happen.
Yeah.
And then if this happens, that can happen or whatever. So
my dad did that same thing, except it was like, don't do this because this will happen. And what will happen is me punching you in the head.
Right. And what does that teach you? I mean, boundaries are important.
Yeah.
But you're not afraid to cross the street because you're going to get hit by your car. You're afraid to cross the street because you're going to get hit by your dad.
Exactly.
Right? It's kind of like
so when your dad's not there, you're like, fucking, I'm crossing the street.
Yeah. And then you get hit by the car. You didn't see that coming. No one taught you.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, so.
I would be a terrible parent.
I don't know. Who knows? Right? Something, my biggest thing with that is just letting him. I recognize it's my job as a father to guide.
Yeah.
Anything outside of that is out of my control. And the more I try to control, the more it's going to wiggle out of my grip. You know what I mean?
A lot of parents, get, they have preconceived notions of what their kid is going to be.
Right.
And then they end up not being.
It has nothing to do with that kid. It has everything to do with you.
Yeah. I mean, if, the 50s are gone, like in the 30s, 40s, 50s, 60s, like your dad played football, you're going to play football.
Mm-hmm.
Your dad sold siding, you're going to sell siding. Your dad went to this college, you're going to that same college. That lineage idea of like, you're going to follow in the footsteps. It was ingrained from birth that you're going to do what your father did, what his father did. You know what I mean? So that's why there's like dentists who grandfather was a dentist. Their dad was a dentist, people in the military, all their families in the military. It's like that model for raising children is all but gone.
Right.
Like
I think that model for parenting too.
That's what I mean. That
right?
model is gone.
People, become parents now and it's not, maybe they're not holding themselves to that same standard. Right? Like I'm happy if my kid wants to be a tattooer, but I hope he does whatever the fuck suits him. I just want him to be happy. But also I think with parenting, there's got to be a level of accountability and respect. And it's like, you're the leader. You can't let the kid lead and like just let them do whatever they want, right?
Yeah.
Like, because you're not teaching them boundaries, and if you're not going to teach them the boundaries, the world will, and the world is way less forgiving than you are.
Exactly.
So
exactly,
it's a weird balance. Everything, it's a weird balance, but
Well, hopefully you hold it together. You got what do you got? 5 more years of good advice before your kid's out on his own.
Yeah. I hope,
Hopefully it's for a lot of people, I recognize that once they do have a kid that's a teenager, it gives them more accountability for their own actions, because you want to be a good role model. You want to be, you don't want to set bad examples.
Mm-hmm.
Which, when the kid's smaller, the kid's not picking up on everything you do. So it's kind of like you still have that leeway to just kind of whatever. But
they're sponges though. I think maybe
that's the mindset
realize
though, is that this kid ends up getting all this bad shit from you even at an early age.
Right. Yeah, because you think they're not paying attention, but they are. Every little thing, and it's crazy.
Well, Fernie, the kid that works for me at the print shop, he's got a 15, 16, 17-month-old kid right now, and he's just kind of on the cusp of starting to talk, but he won't talk around me very much, so I'm like convinced the kid's mute or whatever. But I just try to get him to say fuck every day. I'm just like, every time I'm around, it's like fuck, 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 fuck. So I've taught him some good things already. I put a ruler in his hand, and then I like hit Fernie in the leg with it, and then I laugh real loud, and so it makes him want to like hit Fernie in the leg with a ruler.
Yeah.
So I'm doing a good job, like being that bad uncle.
Yeah.
With Fernie's kid.
They teach you too, though. It's crazy, kids just in general. It's I'm grateful for the way my life has turned out. I'm grateful for the relationships and the people and and my kid and everything he teaches me, and then hopefully I can teach him stuff back,
So to back up, before you went on to Ink Master, you were on drugs.
Oh yeah.
And you had a kid at that time.
Oh yeah.
And I was
trying to kick. So I had dabbled.
What was the motivation to get off the drugs, and how did that correspond with the timing of Ink Master? Is it completely irrelevant?
Yeah. No. So funny story, back in the day when I was on the methadone clinic back in the day, and I got a casting call for Ink Master season 2, maybe 1 or 2.
Yeah.
And I talked to them and stuff, and thank God it didn't work out. Because, dude, in my mind, I was like, yeah, I can like figure it out.
You'd be strung out.
Dude, I just started kicking. Like, I had no idea the rigorous schedule, but everything happens for a reason, and that didn't work out. But fast forward in 2015, at that point, I had wanted to get off of drugs for a long time. I didn't know how. I had a hard time admitting to I was like, thought I was keeping it a secret, right? Like a few close people knew that, my situation, and probably not even the full extent of it, but I found myself on the methadone clinic just trying to maintain. And then I was trying to get off of that. And I didn't know what to do until in 2015, I found myself in handcuffs for possession. And I remember being on the side of the highway and just like sitting down on the curb. They're searching my car, and my shoulders fucking just relaxed. And I was like, thank you, God. Right? Because I knew then, like, this was my opportunity for this to end. I wanted to go into treatment for a long time. I wanted to get off. I didn't know how. I didn't know who to reach out to. I didn't even know how to fully admit that I had a problem. And I didn't know how I could support taking the time off from work to do so.
Yeah.
Right? Because I had a serious habit, but I was still able to maintain some sort of level of
functioning drug
normalcy.
Addict,
yeah, right. And my kid never saw me get high or anything like that, right? But I found myself, in handcuffs and just being like grateful because I knew now I'm entering the court system, right? And I knew now that I'm gonna get drug tested. I knew now that if this isn't a moment to change it, then when's a better fucking time? Because if I keep going down this road, I'm going to die, right? And so in 2015, I got clean. I went into the court system, and my probation officer, she was like, you can still stay on the clinic. I was like, no, I want to get off. I want to get off of everything. I just want to be free, right? I wanted to be able to tell the truth. And I remember the first time I went to a meeting, the first time I was able to tell the truth about like, this is what I'm doing. This is what I'm up to. I'm trying to get off. Can somebody please fucking help me? right? And I was embraced in that community.
Just asking for help opens the door in
Dude.
your own mind.
Yeah, because I was surrounded by people I didn't want to let down. I was surrounded by people like, that would look at me differently if I told them, yo, this is the nature of my disease, my addiction, and all that stuff. And people that maybe wouldn't understand. And there'd be repercussions for that. These people were like, cool, man, me too. I've been there. This is how you get off. This is how you stop. So my life changed in 2015 from that. And then I think it was 2016 I filmed first season of Ink Master, around there. Yeah. Pretty crazy.
And so when you got clean, did you get off? You stop drinking?
Everything.
Stopped
everything.
everything?
So the way my story goes is I got clean, and my recovery was about, at the time, because I had beaten myself down. Another crazy thing. This is my anniversary date today.
Today?
Yeah. But
I was just about to say,
so
it's been 10 years.
I haven't been clean since 2015.
Yeah.
The way it happened was I got into recovery. My recovery, though, at the time was when I found meetings, I had no money, living in my mom's basement. She was paying my cell phone bill, and I told my son's mom, like, hey, I got to take time off work. I'm sorry that how this affects everything, but if I don't do this, I'm going to die. And she understood, right? And I was like, this is it. This is what I have to do. So I took time off work. I think I was out about 2 months trying to relearn how to live, right? Because I'd been tattooing and drugs and all that stuff, and life and drugs, everything. If it's raining, I'm getting high. If it's sunny out, I'm getting high. My whole life was centered around needing something to feel okay. So at this point, in 2015, I got clean, and my recovery at the time, if you told me, hey, this is a pathway to like a more spiritual life, right? I'd be like, nah, I'm good, right? I want this guy over here. He's got the fancy car, the pretty girlfriend in the house. He owns his own business. That's what I want my life to be, right? Because I was so broken and I felt so worthless that if I could dress up all that outside stuff, I could convince the entire world that all the people that I had let down or thought ill about me, and maybe I could convince myself that I had changed. But in reality, I didn't do any work on the inside. It was all just building up whatever, right? So then my new addiction became success, and regaining a firm grasp of my tattoo career and buying stuff. And materialistic shit. Ink Master, that opportunity fell in my lap pretty soon into recovery. I was still trying to get a grasp on, getting back into tattooing. And, I built up this life, this version of myself beyond my wildest dreams, because I fully expected I was going to die. I was like, okay with that. I was like, this is just my life. And one of these days, it's going to be the last day, right? As sad and desperate as that is, it's just the fact. Like, that's kind of just where I was at. And I was fully aware of all the people that would affect and hurt. And I just didn't know any other way. I didn't know how to get off that track. But I built myself up after being introduced to recovery. My recovery was centered around stuff and dressing up the outside, and nothing changed. And soon after that, I was surrounded by more things I could have ever wanted in my entire life. Fancy apartment, paying my bills, motorcycles, owning my own business, all that stuff, right? After North Street Tattoo. And at that point, I got back into weed gummies and drinking here and there and stuff like that. And I had this idea that convinced myself I was completely normal. I'm good. I'm just, right? But I was dressing up everything, and I was completely fucking miserable, surrounded with everything more than I could have ever asked for. And I wanted to drive into traffic, and, I'm not a religious person, but one thing that I recognized that I did keep from recovery was some sort of sense that there's something out there that's bigger than me.
Yeah.
Right. That the world isn't about me, my ego, I, how I feel is fact, and everyone around me and perspective and all that shit. It was, so I sat there and I prayed to myself one night. I was having a panic attack, and The next day I go to the gym and this dude comes over. He's like, "Hey bro, how you been?" This is dude I knew from back in the day. And he's like, "You go to meetings, right?" I was like, "I haven't been to a meeting in a long time." And he's like, "Well, I'm celebrating tomorrow. You should come." And I just was like, all right. Like what I prayed for was peace. I wanted to be a better person to be around. I wanted to not be stressed out. Like, I need the strength to get there. How do I do that? Dude, the very next day, I asked the universe for that. The very next day, this dude, "Hey man, come to a meeting." And I looked at it as, okay, dude, you want that. Here's the path to it. So I just surrendered again. And now it's been 3 years today that I've been back on, like, just sober and also doing the work this time.
Yeah.
Right? Like recognizing like what motivates Jimmy and trying to understand myself. And the better I understand myself, the more I understand the world around me. And the more I can be a productive member of that society, the world. And, you know, so my life's been pretty good for the past 3 years, dude.
Well, not all drugs inhibit your physical abilities to complete life.
Right.
Like heroin, you end up where you can end up living on the street and can't hold a job and can't see your kid and end up in jail and blah, blah, blah. But then there's like just drinking a little bit or just doing weed or just doing this or just eating fucking whatever. You can still function, but you're not clear-minded.
Right.
You know, and being clean, there's no substitute for actually being clean. There's no substitute for being totally clear-minded and only being yourself.
Yeah.
And for me, getting sober at a young age, like I knew that if I did one thing, I was going to end up doing another and doing another and I just considered every slope slippery and just stayed off of them. You know what I mean? And it's I'm a very fortunate person because I got in a lot, and like you got in handcuffs and that was your click moment. I got in a large amount of trouble very young, which, you know, scared straight scenario. You know what I mean? A lot of people end up getting in little bits of trouble and keep going down the path when you'd be better off if you got in more trouble sooner. Right. You know, if you hit that warning sign sooner, you know, so the smaller little things that you do that you think are okay just lead you further down the wrong path, I think.
Absolutely. I think what helps me stay clean is recognizing that I'm obsessive and I will make my life unmanageable with just about anything, right? If I let myself, like whether it's motorcycles, riding motorcycles, working too much, not working enough, right? Like anything I do, I can do it like an addict because I'm an addict and I can admit I'm an addict and I'm okay with being an addict. I think some of the most successful people, some of the best people I know have that in them, that like void that they need to fill, because everyone has that. I think it's in our innate nature. When we're born into this world, we have this hole to fill. And if we didn't have it, what would be the point of anything? Right. Why would you live anything? Why would you get married, have a girlfriend, have kids, buy a house, whatever it is, right? Why would you move through the steps of life if you had everything you needed? So I think there's a part of us that's in our human nature to be kind of half full a little bit, right? And that's the motivator to move. And then the more we move, the more we affect the world around us. And I think that's what's supposed to happen.
Well, what I tell people that not everybody needs to be 100% sober. Not everybody has a problem. But if you've ever had a problem, like a life-altering problem with substances, then you probably need to stay off all substances. Yeah. Not everybody. Some people can drink every once in a while and be fine. Some people can have wine with dinner and be fine. Some people can smoke a little weed and be fine. Some people can whatever. Obviously, nobody should be doing heroin and be fine. But like a lot of people that have major drug problems, they still hold on to that trying to be normal, still have some beers or still have some whatever. I was like, you're not that person.
It's a weird sense of connection too. Like when I got into drugs, I started drinking when I was like 11, and it wasn't because I had a pretty crazy childhood, but it wasn't to stuff. It was to fit in. It was whatever the older kids were up to. And I think there's a sense now, like when you're removed from recovery, it's easy to slip back into I just want to fit in. I just want to do what everyone's doing, you know? And, it's important for me to be watchful of that. You know, when I got clean 3 years ago, when I recommitted myself to recovery, I wasn't at the point where I was drinking too heavy or every day, or it hadn't gotten unmanageable, but I was fucking miserable. And what that was I'd have this crazy day at work or whatever in my life. And instead of having this system or people I can talk to or this program to work through this stuff, I just got to get home and stuff it. I'm going to take a weed gummy and go to sleep. Right. And nothing got solved. And then it would just build up and build up and build up till I was under this mountain of all my own shit that I didn't check off each thing on the list. Right. And so for me, recommitting myself to recovery, it helps me kind of pull myself back and analyze my part in everything and everything I'm doing and why I'm having a hard time with this or that or whatever. Right. And it helps me navigate struggles. So
being clear-minded, no substitute. For that. And
absolutely.
And just problems come and go. They don't come and stay. You know what I mean? They'll
stay if you let them.
That's what I'm saying. Like when you're clear-minded, you can process through the shit and you can let the problems come and go instead of having the problems come and build up.
Mm-hmm.
That's the biggest thing for it, I think. Congratulations, man.
Thank you. It's funny how it worked out. I'm just sitting here. It's on my third day.
Yeah.
And my third year, and I'm talking about recovery. It's funny.
Fucking awesome.
Yeah, a little celebration.
Fucking awesome. And so how many more so you leave here on your motorcycle, you're riding straight to Ohio, or you going somewhere else?
No, I'm going, first stop's gonna be Fort Smith.
Right
outside of Fort Smith at a shop called Fort City.
All right.
Tattoo in Arkansas. That's gonna be dope. The gentleman that owns that is I met him years ago. His name's Jeff Slack, and he was up in Boston tattooing years ago. I met him. We've stayed connected. So I'm tattooing there, and then I'm going over to Nashville at Wealth and Taste.
Cool.
And then I'm going to Asheville for Mike Chambers' shop, Traveler Tattoo. Supposed to go down to Piedmont for Josh Bovender. I know you went through there.
Yeah.
Sweet and Sour. Funny story, when I lived in South Carolina, he was actually our apprentice at the shop.
Oh, really?
Yeah. I'm sure he got some stories of when I was on drugs.
He's a character, man.
For sure.
What a character. What a great shop, man. We met him on happenstance on tour and happened to be in a town that we didn't know anybody and got recommended to go to his shop, and cold called him out of the blue and said, "Hey, man, I got your number from Jimmy.
Yeah.
Me and Greg are looking for a place to do some tattoos." And he was like, "Fuck yeah, come on." And we just met all him and the dudes, and it was like super fucking cool.
I'm excited I haven't seen him in years. And
the shop is fucking badass.
The version of myself now compared to the version that he knew I'm sure is a complete different person. So I'm sure there's a little bit of like amends on that side. Not that there was any sort of bad blood, but like I probably wasn't the best to be around. You know what I mean? So I'm excited to see him. And then from there, I'm going up to Louisville. Well, actually, it's Jeffersonville, Indiana, right over the line at Spring Street Tattoo. And then from there, Ohio Bike Week.
Man, you really are doing the tattoo.
Just going.
Man.
Tattooing, riding, tattooing every day. It's like ride a full day.
It's my favorite thing.
It's the best. And doing it solo has been cool.
Yeah, me and Greg are trying to put together two-wheel tattoo for sometime this year. We've done it a few times, just ride and tat. It's fucking, it is the best thing that we've ever done. I love it. The bike riders tour, the two-wheel tattoo, or whatever it is, but just getting able to ride and work along the way and fuck around. I have like the story with Bovender and just meeting him out of the blue. There's been a couple of instances, same scenario where you're in a town and you don't know anybody, and I just put the word out, "Hey, do you know anybody in this town? You know anybody in this town?"
Yeah.
And my buddy Jimmy Perlman, he's been on tour for years with bands, so he knows tattoo shops in almost every fucking goddamn town. So I always hit him up first, and he'll always be like, "Oh, well, there's this shop and that shop." And something so cool about just popping in to a place for your first time and meeting everybody and just being a part of it. And it's like that outreach, that connection of outreaching family that spiderwebs across the world. You know, it's pretty cool. Like the story about Chuko popping in, you know what I mean?
Dude.
It's so cool.
And the way that carries over, like you don't recognize initially the fingerprint it leaves. Like years down the road, it's like that moment where I meet Chuko again here at Elmfest, and being able to connect with him about Dave, who passed away. It's crazy. The impressions you leave on people. He had no idea that he probably didn't even know who I was at Elmfest, but just I knew who he was.
Yeah.
Right. And it was cool to be able to talk to him about that stuff.
Very cool.
Yeah, man.
We're all good. Well, I wish you the best on this fucking trip, dude. I feel like it's gonna be fucking badass. I'm pretty jealous that I'm not out on the road also at the same time. My buddy Jacob and Jordan Baxter are riding their motorcycles from New York to Texas right now.
Mm-hmm.
I'm also jealous I'm not on that trip. There's so much going on this last couple of months and this week and next week. It's just like, hopefully, be out on the road soon.
Yeah, you will be.
Yeah.
I know you don't sit still too long.
No, but I mean on the bike, out on the road on the bike. I've been traveling a lot. This year I've driven all over the country multiple times. I've already driven to New Jersey, already driven to Ohio, already driven to California twice, drove to Utah twice, just in the last 8 or 9, 10 weeks or whatever. It's been nonstop.
Yeah.
I got to get some two-wheel time.
Yeah, dude, definitely.
Well, dude, thank you so much for fucking shooting the shit and sharing your story. And I appreciate you. Congratulations on 3 years, man.
Thank you.
And also, congratulations on this trip you got going. It looks fucking killer.
Thank you.
It's going to be badass.
Yeah.
And thanks for coming to Elmfest again, dude. Appreciate it.
Yeah.
It's going to be a great weekend with great people. By the time this episode airs, Elmfest will be over. But we will we'll give you all the updates and tell you what happened on it. It's going to be great. Great weekend. And good luck on the dice roll on Sunday.
I never win CeeLo, but it's all right.
This could be the year.
We'll see.
This could be the year, dude.
That'd be fucking sweet.
Hey, you know what I tell everybody? I was like, somebody's got to win, dude. Somebody's got to be the winner.
I feel like that. Doesn't Ross Nagel always win?
He won it one time.
All right.
That's the thing. Is people are like, oh, so-and-so always wins. I'm like, they won one time. But when you win one time and that one time is $15,000, it seems like a big deal.
Yeah, dude, that makes up for every other time we've lost.
Right? All you got to do is win once,
That's
man.
the mindset. Keep that going.
All you got to do is win once. I am holding out a little bit of hope for myself to win.
Yeah.
Which I think if I win, it's the best because then everybody's pissed.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because I brought everybody together. I forced everybody to gamble, and then I win. Money. Oh, nothing could be better than that. Oh, yeah, this is bullshit.
I think it's the best trade-off, though, out of any convention.
Oh, man.
It's
a good deal.
It's like you have to play.
You got to play. All right, we'll see you there. Thank you so much.
Yeah, man. Thank you.
What do you want to tell everybody? Check you out. North Street Tattoo, Salem, Mass.
Yeah, we have the Instagram is North Street Salem. My Instagram's Jimmy Snaz. That's pretty much the only social media.
We call him Snaz Daddy.
Yeah, Snaz Daddy.
And if you want to get a tattoo by Jimmy Snaz, it's not that hard.
It's not that hard. I got a text number in my bio.
Text him.
Yeah.
24 hours, day or night, 7 days a week.
That's it. Follow along for the journey.
All right, rock on, guys. Thank you so much. We'll see you next time. And don't forget to like, share, subscribe, follow, do all the things. Follow Jimmy. And check out his adventures. Take it easy, guys.
Thank you.
Hey, please remember to like, share, and subscribe. Come on, guys. Click all those links. Push all those buttons because it really helps us out and gets us out there to more and more peeps. What in the Duck podcast is produced by Audra Cabral and John.com Niederkorn. Our sound, video engineer, and editor is Courtney, Junior Larkins. Initial audio-video setup and intro music by Blake Balake Pinchon. And a big thanks to everyone that submitted questions. Y'all keep them coming. Email me any questions you would like me to answer to whatintheduckpodcast@gmail.com. Thanks for listening, and we'll see you next time on What in the Duck. What in the Duck podcast is proud to be sponsored by Anchor Screen Printing. Anchor Screen Printing has been printing t-shirts and merch products since 1999. Anchor is the place for quality, small-run items. At Anchor, every print is hand-done by people who care about art. You can email anchorcustoms@gmail.com to talk about getting something printed for your company, brand, or shop. Anchor Screen Printing also has its own online merch store that sells Elm Street Tattoo, Cheap Thrills, Heart and Hand, Party First Safety Maybe merch, and much more. So go to anchorscreenprinting.com today and buy some cool shit. or you can click the link provided in this podcast to shop now.